Why does Alex hate Maddie? Because Maddie is a bastard, man.
What's what's going on, YouTube? This is Squids, and I'm joined here today with Etchy Guy as always for the sixth episode of
The
the
edgy
Squids.
man, come on, get it right.
I keep, I keep fucking it up. I'm so sorry.
It's fine. I haven't even seen if it's something I could use for fucking reviews or anything like that, but
Today, you know how if you watched, you know how the podcast format goes. We're gonna be talking about Orange, which I made Alex suffer through, but we're also just gonna
oh,
bitch, moan, and complain and go off on tangents as always. So the story will get told and the review, but we just kind of do whatever the heck we want to on this podcast, and it's kind of like a non-sponsored Better Trash Taste.
I'm going to say so many things, and you are going to listen to them all. That's how podcasts work. I'm not really saying anything that deep right now.
That's how podcasts work, baby. That's how it goes.
Baby,
Orange
what up,
man.
sweet cheeks?
Oh, you
Oh my
know
fucking god, dude. fuck you, and fuck you.
how?
Like, for real, dude. I have never been on such an emotional roller coaster since you made me fucking watch this shit. Like,
Yeah,
God, dude, I feel like I've had so many relationships end and begin in that fucking anime.
yeah. Well, you know that's how a love polygon works, baby.
It's a dodecahedron. We're gonna pretend there's 20 people in a fucking 3D space, all fucking each other. I love dodecahedron.
Well, you know, if anybody knows me, I love my romance, I love my comedies, but my other love in life is like the psychological thriller time travel shit. And Orange,
I did not actually know that, and that makes a whole lot of fucking sense. Seeing as you said this was one of your favorites,
you didn't realize that? I mean, you got
so
like
I never. So we've sort of talked about it. You kind of gave me the whole after I watched it. Oh, welcome to the psychological time travel thriller, and I was like, yeah, I've kind of sort of done this thing before, but I'm kind of still a virgin, so be gentle with me, daddy.
so like so like like with like Orange or like Steinsgate or Summertime
I
Rendering.
still need to watch that.
Dude, I recommend. It depends because they're both so fucking good. I have the
So
six.
if I were to do Steins Gate, should I do the visual novel, read
Um,
it, or watch it first?
well, it depends how you want to do it. I would watch the anime first
Okay.
because that way, I mean, it's gonna kind of spoil a little bit of the visual novel, but at the same time, I think I gave Steins Gate a solid, the original series, a 9 out of 10.
Oh,
Um,
that's pretty fucking good. That's not
because
IGN scores right there. That's Maddie scores.
yeah, Maddie can tell. Let me tell you what I have on my Mal a total of 734 anime entries that I have watched, and
Hmm.
I I
Hmm.
that's a lot of anime. I don't want to talk about. I think statistically they tell you how many days that equals out. I don't really want to think about it, but I'm pretty sure it's at least a few months of my life.
Well, you gotta think fucking average 24 episodes per anime. If you fucking like let's give it like 22 if you skip outro and intro, which you'll watch the outro and intro at least once.
Yeah.
I mean, I always do for these reviews. I can't remember the outro and intro for Orange, but what I kind of vaguely remember, it was good.
Yo, it was
Um,
great. The outro was better, but that's the other thing. But yeah,
yeah, I think I
I did
think
the
I think I felt that way too.
I did the math here, and it tells me that I've watched 190.9 days of anime in my life. So 6 months of my life has been dedicated to anime, which is coming to my point here of the fact that I've talked about this before in many of my reviews and shit, but like my scoring wise is like if I watched it all the way through, it's a 5, minimum 5.
At
And
least, yeah.
and then
It makes sense.
6 is like, whatever. 7's mid. 8's a little bit above and beyond. 9 is practically perfect, but there's like one or two nitpicks I have, and 10 is like legacy level because like I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So out of the 700, I have like 12 tens only, and orange is one of them, which is
So,
which is a hot take
I,
because a lot of people, if I
I
remember correctly, I think the average score of Orange is like a 7.7, but I think that
so
it's some top tier shit.
I'd say it's top tier shit too. Honestly, I'd probably give it a 9.5, 10 out of 10, somewhere in there. Because well, we'll get into the because, but it hits a lot of the right notes with me. You know, let's talk about visually first. Like, the backdrops in this anime are fucking phenomenal, dude. Like,
Yeah,
even within that first episode where you see parts of the city that they're in, I can't remember if it takes place in an actual city or a fictional city. Um,
it does. It takes place in God, I don't want to say. I'm trying to think. I don't even want to name a city, but I know it isn't a real city because I want to say Hokkaido, but I don't believe it's Hokkaido. I just know it's not a big city like Tokyo or any of the prefectures like that. But
but
either way, it looks fucking stunning. Like,
exactly, there's this moment where I think it's within the first episode where they're literally at a crossing. I think it's later in the first episode. They're at a crossing in the middle of the town. They're all about to separate. And the backdrop, I'm stunned by the fucking backdrop of it. Like, visually, this anime is a 10 out of 10.
oh yeah, yeah,
Like,
like
they did so well with it. And we'll talk about eyes again. I'm gonna say eyes again because I will preface this. We recorded 2 episodes together on the same fucking day, and I talked about eyes in the other episode. Their eyes have so much fucking life in them. It's
oh
it's ridiculous. Like, I could look into these anime eyes and fall in love with not only the girls but the boys. And I am a man who loves the girls. I don't love the boys.
don't lie to me.
And I could fall in love with the boys too. Oh,
Saku
Maddie, I only
was
got
your
love.
what? Saku was your love. You loved those nice nerdy glasses and his dude. Honestly, Saku is actually like low key one of my favorite characters. With how like he just
See,
reminds me a little bit of myself. With how like
so
his interests are so stupid, but like nobody takes him seriously. It's just so fucking great.
so this is where we get into the 9.5 territory. We're gonna jump around a little bit because this is just a free form episode. Character development. I really only think Hirito, Kakura, and Naho were developed. I feel like we got it with Takako, Azusa, and Saku. Like, we got to see them, but I don't feel like their characters were developed very much compared to the other three. They
Well,
were very much supporting characters. They were fantastic supporting characters. Don't get me wrong, but I'd like a little more development in their stories.
what do you mean? Saku got rid of his glasses and fell in love with Azusa.
So, but like, you
Development,
don't get the development.
development.
You don't get development though. That's like a point A to point B because you have Saku at one point being like, "Who could ever love me? I'm just an ugly nerd guy." Push his glasses up with middle finger. Um, and
Yeah,
then fucking you get no development whatsoever. I feel with Azusa, like, you kind of get a feel for her character. Like, obviously throughout the whole series she's kind of sort of secretly in love with Saku, and Saku's sort of secretly in love with her, but you don't get to see the development. And this series, I will say, is essentially Kakeru and Naho's story.
well, right. That's exactly what it is. And you
That
can't
that that's what it is.
If you want to get
And
technical, you got Hiruto, who's also, oh, that poor martyr. Um,
yes. Do you want to know what's really funny though?
huh.
We'll segue a little bit here. So, what I like to do when I'm talking about these animes with you is I pull up a in my other browser over here on my other monitor. I'll pull up the characters so I can remember the names. You know, I'll quickly peek over, look at, and be like, okay, that's that person. I'm talking about that person now because I'm very ADHD. One of the things I'm terrible at is names. Um, so I have orange characters pulled up in the browser, and I didn't know Ernie, Velma Dinkley, and Garfield were in orange.
Who?
But according to Google, Velma Dinkley from Scooby Doo, Garfield from Garfield, and Ernie from Sesame Street, they were all in orange.
Oh,
Because orange is such a generic way to, like, if I type in orange characters on fucking Google, it's any character that's orange.
oh. It's not
So
just the series. You got every orange character you can think of.
yeah, so
Wow.
yeah, Velma Dinkley is canonically part of the annuity. She's
And
off solving mysteries in America. Garfield's eating lasagna in America. Ernie, he's off on Sesame Street in America, and this is just what's happening in Japan at the time.
I guess.
That's my head canon now.
I'm glad you feel that way.
See, I'm a Star Wars fan, and being a Star Wars fan, you really have to have canon to stay a Star Wars fan,
uh,
especially nowadays.
I gave up being a Star Wars fan about 10 years ago.
I wish I would have. Because honestly, aside like Rogue One, these last couple movies were trash, and I don't even really care about the series outside of Clone Wars, the animated series.
Oh, yeah. I just pretend that Star Wars Disney doesn't exist, and I just move on with my life.
Okay, Rogue One was fucking phenomenal.
It was all right.
Like, okay, it doesn't hold a candle to even the prequels, but for what we got from Disney, if we
I,
just compare it to what we got from Disney, it's phenomenal.
I suppose if you want to go from that angle.
And I have to go from that angle because I'm still a Star Wars fan. Like, I still, like, Maddie, I'm probably going to buy a second lightsaber before you come down here, and we're having a lightsaber fight in my backyard. Well, up here, down here. Yeah, down here, because you're up. I'm
I'm
down. I was
I,
about to dox you, dude. I was about to do it.
oh no. Oh, I'm gonna have so many people coming to my doorstep.
You're going to have all 37 people that listen to this Squid Tales. And if you're one of those 37 people, I love you.
we, lo- we love your face.
And even if your face is ugly, we still kind of love it, but I'm not going to bang you.
I,
Like, fucking, if you're at a hardcore show, I might spin kick you in the side of the head, but, like,
yeah, he's kind of
for
mean
real.
like that.
No, I don't crowd kill, bro. I don't crowd kill. I just have a good time.
Uh-huh.
Fucking segue, because we always fucking segue on these and talk about stupid fucking tangents. We're going to rabbit trail a little bit. So, I went to that fucking Knock Loose and Motionless after the Burial fucking Alpha Wolf show, right?
Yep.
So I went to Knock Loose thinking I'd be able to throw down and shit, because I like to throw down. Like, so I don't know how much metal fans and hardcore fans touch with anime fans, so you're gonna have to listen to some metal and hardcore talk for a minute. My dad's girlfriend's kid, I was talking to him about the Knocked Loose show because this was after I'd bought my tickets, and I was all excited and shit. And obviously these people are metalcore fans, they're not hardcore fans. And Knocked Loose, yeah, they're kind of sort of the Nirvana of hardcore, but in a good way. Like Knocked Loose, like I like what they do. Their breakdowns are heavy, fucking great shit. Um, but I was talking to him, and he's like, "Oh my god, dude! I'm so excited for this show, but Knocked Loose is gonna attract so many fucking crowd killers." And I'm like, "Dude, do you even know what a fucking crowd killer is? Because us hardcore guys know what a fucking crowd killer is. Like some dude hardcore dancing is not a fucking crowd killer because usually we're not trying to hurt people. The crowd killer is the one fucking at the edge of the pit swinging fucking back fists at the people standing at the side of the pit. Like, there's a fucking difference, dude.
Yeah, yeah.
Don't equate
That's
don't don't equate hardcore dancing and throwing down, two step and crowd killing. That's
yeah.
all I have to fucking say because we don't crowd kill. We're just there to have a good time and dance, and if we get hit, we get hit.
That's a hate breed show.
Yeah, like for fuck's sake. I'm so excited for the Kubla show though. Like you should go to that Kubla show. Like fucking Tsunami's gonna be off the fucking hook. Judah Carey's gonna be off the hook. I can't remember what the third band is there, but like that
It's
Kubla show though fucking introduced me to Judah Carey, and I love Judah Carey now because they're like fucking a mix between like hardcore and thrash. And I grew up
oh
on thrash.
thrash.
Well, yeah, fucking. I mean, you could really consider early Metallica or early fucking Megadeth thrash at that point. Like that's what I grew up on.
Oh yeah, that's 100% thrash.
Yeah, and then fucking I've been kind of because I'm starting to realize like I like hardcore more than I like metal.
Yeah,
I've been starting to delve or add more hardcore bands like Trapped Under Ice. I've actually really fucking enjoyed.
Trapped
Um,
Under Ice. Yeah, they're really
fucking
good. Or
Terror was really good.
yeah, or Ice Pick, which is a Hatebreed side project. They're pretty
I
good.
should check them out.
Yeah,
Fucking what was uh everyone likes Turnstile right now, but the way I view Turnstile is like heavy Weezer.
yeah. Turnstiles, like, I'm not a fan of that, but I like,
It's all right. Like I could jam it, but like it's heavy Weezer.
yeah.
Jesus Peace. I fucking love Jesus Peace right now.
I've seen them live.
I have not, and I'm kind of jealous. But
I've seen them with
no.
Terror and Knocked Loose.
Oh, that'd be such a good fucking show, dude. Like,
It
were
was
there fucking karate in the pit? Because
Oh yeah, it was at
karate.
it was at the Caboose. It was right when Knocked Loose's first album came out after their EP.
Laughing tracks.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Laughing tracks.
I fucking love laughing tracks, dude. Like, I don't care. I don't know how you feel about Knocked Loose. Like, you can hate on them if you want because they are kind of that weird pseudo hardcore, metallic hardcore, I guess. Like I fucking love Knocked Loose, dude. They kind of got me back into hardcore. Like I've been listening to uh call it Every Time I Die for a while. I've been listening to old Venya. I've been listening to old Stick to Your Guns and shit like that. But like they got me back into like looking into hardcore. And I think I actually found Kubla on a fucking Knocked Loose radio station.
Oh, speaking of being knocked loose,
Uh,
I'm just kidding.
what?
Nothing. I was just making. I don't even know what the hell I'm talking about. But
But
let's,
yeah, we let's go back to Orange because we end up talking about music more than we end up talking about actual anime on these fucking
yeah,
side podcasts, which makes me feel like we need to start a network, bro.
a
You and
network.
me,
Let's.
where me and you
So
can pop on here and talk about music and anime
I just need to start a
and
side channel,
pornography.
honestly. Well, yeah, that works too. You know.
Dude,
But
no. Seriously, I've had this thought for the past couple days, another little tangent, but like if we started like a podcast network type of thing, like I could cover the shit that you don't have time to cover.
That's
and
true.
we could talk about whatever the fuck we want, and I could potentially pull in more people, and you could pull in more people, so there could be like, you know, 5, 6, 7 of us all working towards this one network goal,
Five,
which would take a
six.
little bit of the weight off of you.
Yeah,
Well,
that's
because I know that I think 5, 6, 7's pretty reasonable. Like, I know some people who would sit and talk about this stuff with us,
that's fine with me. I don't think the
and
people
then we
would
could
mind either.
exactly, because then we could get to that point where we have a, you know, a full damn near round table on something we all want to talk about. But back to Orange, that was an emotional fucking roller coaster, dude. Like, if I were to recommend this to anyone, because I don't think I'd recommend it to everyone.
Oh God,
I
no.
really don't.
This
But
is
if
one of
you've ever had
this is what
suicidal ideations, thoughts of grief, um, you know, full on, you know, regrets that you couldn't change something in your life. This is a very touching anime in those senses, and it'll make you sort of feel the things that people tend to push down and don't want to feel.
yeah, this show really tackles a lot of the, I guess, more sensitive subjects, along with like personal, I guess, growth and self hatred, and at the same time, it's the characters in the show, like you said, like obviously Naho and Kakeru and Hiroto are like the three strongest
You
characters.
mean you mean nachos and Dokuro and
Because like obviously the other three characters have, I mean, and then there's a few other obviously side characters on top of it, like
mhm,
um
like
like
the
the
grandmother, like fucking
yeah
like Kakuru's.
grandmama, and then there's that bitch Rio, and and
Yeah.
then and there's
It,
obviously
dude, I'm gonna say it, dude. It kind of destroyed me in that flashback because I think it's like mid-season, but the flashback where they finally sort of find out, like, so you kind of understand that when they read that first letter, because what happens for anyone who hasn't watched it, I think it's within the first episode, they dig up a time capsule 10 years in the future of where the main sort of plot takes course.
yep.
They dig up a time capsule. It's supposed to be them talking to themselves 10 years in the future, but Kakeru's character talks as if he knows he's not going to be there. He talks to everyone else.
Well,
And
the
no one kind of sort of caught that,
yeah, and
or
then
caught the way he felt.
and
But
then like on
so
top of it, like
that moment,
he even like in his like 10-year note, he even like made the premise of the fact that pretty much that he knew he wasn't going to be there while they made those
exactly, like
yeah.
that's what I was getting at. And then you get this touch of that when you hear them read his note out loud, and then you watch. We're gonna say it's mid-season. I think the actual anime runs like 13 episodes, so like probably around 5 or 6. You see that his grandmother knew it was a unalive yourself type of situation.
Yeah,
But
because they do like the style where like obviously we get that first scene and then it goes back to, I guess, um a parallel timeline, because this has to do like obviously with timelines, and it goes through along that timeline, but at the same time, on the side note, if you want to call it the quote unquote true timeline, um
but
we get to
what
see
you
that.
what you gotta also what you
What?
also gotta touch on is the fact that like the 10 years in the past don't understand that it could be different timelines.
Right,
Minus one character.
that gets like leaked later on because yeah, like in the first episode before Naho's going to school, she finds a letter pretty much addressed to herself, um, kind of describing like events that are going to happen. But at first, she doesn't even open this envelope. Like she just kind of throws it in her bag and just goes to school that day. But like, yeah, well, that whole plot's happening on the side. You've got like the quote unquote true timeline or the original,
Uh,
depending on how you view it. And
the
like,
thing with dude,
what was
the
that?
thing the thing that still fucking bothers me to this moment, and I know that if you'd like to think to yourself that this series continues on past the series itself, that it gets resolved, but the moment in the first episode where Naho reads the fact that we should not invite Kakaru out, that still breaks my heart to this fucking moment. Like,
The fact that they could have like prevented this whole like series in the first place if they wouldn't have invited him out that day.
yeah, because if you really think about it, a lot of what happens later in the series could have been completely avoided.
Which is true. But if you think about it at the same time, if they wouldn't have invited Kakaru out, would he even have
Would
became
they have
close?
ever became friends?
They would have never became
Like
friends. He never would have joined the soccer team, considering his mom didn't want him to join sports groups or
this
any clubs.
okay, viewers and listeners, this is a very hard one to unpack because it does involve parallel universes, parallel timelines, parallel time travel, not time travel, but parallel timelines.
Yeah, and
It
like I
involves
was
a lot of like moments that you see, but you sit and think to yourself like, well, if this was avoided in this way, would it have really changed anything?
Yeah, and see that's something I really like love about these types of series is like even when you
They
know
really
what
make you think.
yeah, it really makes you think
They
about
really
other
make you think.
possibilities that could have happened. You know what I mean? And obviously like I was saying with like the timeline we're getting into and then the original timeline, you get to see like glimpses of what's happening in this timeline and like obviously they all are like meeting together um in the quote unquote true timeline. And that's when we found out
Yep.
about from his grandmother that all these years they wanted to know if it was a suicide or an actual accident. And she finally leaks to them that it was a suicide. And that, well, that's
So,
all. Yes, you can go.
so what we have to say is, I don't feel like throughout all these years in this the true timeline that they even thought that it was a suicide. I think that they all assumed it was an accident, and then once they read that note 10 years in the future, because what happens is, so when they decide to read this note, they go to visit his grave, and when they
Yep.
visit his grave is also out by his grandmother. And they go and visit his grandmother's house, and I will say that the way that, at least if this is how Japanese culture is, I'm not too in tuned with it, in touch with it, but the shrines to the lost loved ones and stuff like that. This is 10 years in the future after Kakaru has died, and his grandmother still has a shrine out to him as a past loved one. Um, they go to visit the shrine, pay their respects to Kakaru. They leave birthday gifts that they should have left on his what would have been 17th birthday. I think it was
Yep.
17th birthday.
Yep. Like the
Um,
flowers and
yeah, but if they would have
oh,
if they would have never read these notes from the time capsule, they would have never went out to the grandmother's house, and they
I think
would have
I think
never
that
learned about this in the first place.
I think
Like,
I th- I think they would have honestly.
well, so if I don't, so I don't think so. I don't think if they would have not gone back to read the time capsule, like, of course, these characters were very close. They would have gone back capsule together. I think it's what fucking six characters.
Yep,
Um,
it's a group of six.
they would
Yep.
have gone. They would have gone back and regardless. But if they never would have, I don't think they would have gone back and visited Kakeru's grandma and got the confirmation that it
Well,
was indeed a suicide and thought to send these letters back to themselves in the past.
I think that
Which,
aspect, yes, I do agree on, but I think they still possibly would have went to the grandmother's to go visit his um I
well,
guess.
so you see that a lot of these people have. Sorry to keep fucking interrupting, but you see that a lot of these friends they've drifted apart for the most part. Like, I don't think that Azusa and Saku are together true timeline.
In that
Um,
timeline, I
the,
mean, it's really hard to say. I think they are. I know like those two, and obviously
so
in the main timeline of the true timeline, obviously Hiroto and Naho are a couple and they have a baby, and obviously,
so I
sadly, Takako is a single hot bitch, you know. But
oh my god, dude, I'd let her step on my fucking sack. Like, I'm not even gonna lie.
like, dude, she's
Like,
honestly,
we're gonna talk about some weird shit. Like, I'd let her step on my sack. Like,
oh, dude, her
I wouldn't let a lot of
dominance
girls
is,
step on my sack, but I'd let her. She'd be my dommy mommy. I
yeah,
wouldn't
she's,
even need to be a switch at that point. Like,
you could be a light switch.
I would just know my place. Like, that moment where I think it was a little. So the time frame is so fucking weird to peg down because I think all all of the alternate timeline happens within a year.
It
Then
does,
you get
yep.
the OVA, and the OVA is 10 years later.
Yep.
So what happens is I can't remember the woman's name. I think you said Mio,
Oh, is it Rio? The one that
Rio,
the one
Rio
that dated Kakeru for a little bit?
starts. Yeah, starts dating Kakeru for a little bit, and of course, um, Naho is very shy, very timid type of personality. Um, her future self said, "Don't let him date her," and she actually kind of went out of her way to, send a message to him like, "Don't date her," but it was too late,
Because yeah,
too
like
little, too late.
the future self told her to check the eraser after she borrows him an eraser and a pencil. And in the
That was so cute.
and then in the eraser envelope, yeah, it says should I date her? And like you said, she's gonna say no and puts it in his locker, but it's too late at this point because she doesn't catch him. And so he goes out with Rio, which for context, she's from Tokyo, and Kakeru is originally from Tokyo as well. So she feels like they have that kind of connection going on, and she's also a senior compared to them. And then on top
And
of it is
let's preface this too about the fact that this is very much like, I don't know, episode 3 or 4 or something like that. But they Naho does not have the conviction yet to start following that letter. So when she doesn't realize that that is actually a letter from the future. She's still sort of debating that fact.
yeah, she's at this
And
point now where she's like slightly skeptical about following it to a T, but like realizes that everything that's in this letter is actually like coming to fruition at this point. And
exactly. So, like, she doesn't bother to read ahead at all. So she's only kind of sort of reading the in the moment.
right,
And that's kind of sort of why she misses her opportunity with Kakeru and Rio, is that she read in the moment. And, being that she read in the moment, she just that as he handled she's literally reading past Kakeru a pencil because he forgot his pencil today and an eraser. And then she's literally reading at that moment, like, check the eraser. So she
right.
doesn't have the foresight yet that you would get from your future self telling you about these moments.
And to, I guess, add to the context, since we kind of jumped a tiny bit over it, but the main reason in the first episode that they tell Naho tells herself from the true timeline to the timeline we're like really familiar with is that Kakeru ends up, killing himself in the future on that, specific day in February right after Valentine's Day because when they go out to they go and just kind of go and chill hang out because Azusa's parents own this bakery where they make really good delicious buns and while
I
that's
want to
go,
try those buns, dude. The curry bun sounds so fucking good.
dude, oh yeah, no shit.
I love fucking curry, dude. So, tangent for a minute because we do these on Squid Tales. I used to date this half Japanese girl, and oh my god, dude, her dad would make curry, and like all her friends and me would come over just for this. And then one time, dude, I had her old ass fucking Asian grandma. Like, I doubt you're listening to this, Crystal, but if you are, hey, I had her old ass grandma fucking make me curry at this one point, dude, and fucking like, oh my god, it was so good. Like, and Crystal, if you're hearing this, I'd probably still plow you. I doubt you're hearing this, but if you are, or if you
Yeah.
hear this in the future, like depending on what you look like at that moment, like we might still have a chance. We might still have a chance at love.
Well,
But
it's funny you say
dude,
that.
curry, it's traditional is curry good. Like
Yeah,
fucking
it's
potato, meats, curry, fucking carrots, whatever they put in there, and then fucking throw it over some rice. Oh my fucking god, dude.
and
Whew.
then add a tonkatsu cut. Oh, life's good. But
Fucking A, dude. Like
but
curry days were fucking days, dude. Like, cause I did date a half Japanese girl, like straight up half Japanese. It was fantastic.
ironically,
And yeah,
where the hell was I going with this? I had a thought, but my mind went blank. Oh yeah, no. You never know because the algorithm, ironically, my coworker, her daughter, which sorry if you're hearing this, but her daughter's like 14 years old, and one day at work she told me her daughter somehow algorithmically got recommended the channel, and
that's funny.
her daughter watches my videos, so hopefully she doesn't watch the Squid Tales. But if you do, hi.
Hi, hi, coworkers of Squid's daughter. You're 14 right now. Keep it in your fucking pants.
You
That's all I gotta say.
probably shouldn't be watching this one, but but yeah. So
Especially because I'm on here, like for real. I didn't know we had a 14-year-old audience, but again,
oh
14-year-old audience. We'll tailor back to the other episode we recorded tonight because I'm gonna ruin the movie magic right now.
yeah,
I'm in my accepting degeneracy phase.
yeah,
So
and I
you're
mean,
gonna hear a lot of degenerate shit. Like I look at anime titties all the time. I'm not even gonna lie.
ironically, realistically, my demographic is like 18 to 24 is my hugest demographic, but then I also have like 25 to 34 year olds is like a quarter, 18 to 24 is like 60%, and then 35 to 44 is like 14%. And then, like, ironically, once I started covering more rom-coms, I have an actual 5% female audience. And I actually have a really huge, geographically speaking, if you look at my geographic content, only 40% of my viewers are from the US. Actually, my next biggest area is ironically Japan at about 8%. And then it's like Philippines and Russia and India. It's like, but back from this tangent now. So
Well, we got a tangent a little more because, like, I was gonna say, if you like to cover the rom coms and you have not covered Toradora,
oh my God,
we
I'm
should
not,
cover that together in a Squid Tales because I fucking actually kind of loved that.
but there's so much better rom-coms than Toradora.
I know, but I still kind of loved it. Like
That's
there were
okay.
there were things I didn't like about it, and we can talk about the things I didn't like about it.
Okay, so
But
what we'll
I I,
do
I still kind of loved it.
We'll do the next Squid Tales
Well,
on the one I recommended, and then after that
yeah,
we could do Toradora for you.
I'm gonna be working on that this weekend. Don't worry, don't worry.
No,
And
and
then
then
I've got to find some etchy animes, be the etchy guy, and everyone's gonna know me as the degenerate who likes anime titties.
yeah. Well, of course. I mean, I do, you
Exactly,
do, we all do.
exactly.
But
We
so
all
yeah,
love anime. Titties are titties, bro. Like the way I explain it to people is anime titties are literally the drawing of the perfect titties. Like
well, of course
you don't have to like it, but it's there.
they're not gonna draw saggy titties.
I mean, some people might be into that, so they might draw it, but like these are the perfect titties.
Right. Exactly. So before I
So
forget,
we were we
the main reason that they said that is like I said with Kakeru, while they're out eating buns as a group, is because on that day, he was supposed to go help his mother into the hospital, and then before he's like telling her, "No, you're a grown up, you can do it yourself." And coincidentally, that
well,
day,
it's not that plain though. Like he generally feels bad about it, and you can tell that he feels bad about it later in the series. And it's not the you're grown up, you can do it yourself, but it's more of like I haven't like we're in a new area. I haven't had friends yet. These friends, so it's like put yourself back in a place where you're like 17 years old. You just moved to a new area. You don't know fucking anyone, and these people invite you out right away. And yet your mom is mentally ill, a little sick. Um, and you were supposed to bring her to the hospital. Like, your 17-year-old brain can't comprehend the importance of bringing your mentally ill mom to the hospital. You're thinking more about your life at that point. Like,
right?
yeah, as I, how old are you again, Maddie? Like, not to dox you, but like, how old are you? Because I'm 32.
I'm 28.
So, like, at 28, 32, you're thinking a little bit more differently than the 17-year-old kid would think. Like, put
What?
yourself in that place.
That's because we have our prefrontal cortex.
Exactly, especially as men, because we ended our maturing at like 25. Like women's, they had a little more lucky than us. They ended at like fucking, I think like 18.
Yeah. But like the way I was thinking, like I said, like I mean, he didn't necessarily mean that, and like that she's a grown up, she can do it herself. But that's like kind of the way he worded it because, like you said, he wants to, get acquainted with people, and the fact that his mom's kind of semi been controlling his life, but like she's doing it in an aspect of like trying to care for him because, like obviously we get into it a little bit later on, but like obviously he was kind of a crybaby bitch when he was a kid and
Yeah, and he's a crybaby bitch as a fucking almost grown ass man too. Like let's
right,
admit that. Like
right. So like they don't know that aspect, but that's the main reason why he ends up killing himself on February 15th the next year because he felt
yeah,
responsible for his mom's suicide. And
the
so
17th the 17th year of his life. So didn't even make it to fucking 18.
that's right. He didn't even make it to adulthood. But hey, you know what? That happens. Things are going on. Obviously, like we said, he meets Rio, and then they kind of have a thing. And like obviously we all hate Rio. Rio is like that one character where you're like,
So
oh my god,
scum.
she's total
So
bitch.
scum, dude. Like
Yes,
like if
she's
I could slap her in the face, like I wouldn't slap most women in the face, but I'd slap her in the face.
right, and like not to like you said, like Naho is a very timid character at this point who like kind of like just likes living her comfy life with her at this point in time until
She,
obviously she meets Kakeru, but her other four best friends, she's pretty comfortable living that and not
and
speaking out.
and I can relate because like I'm in that point where, you know, yeah, I've lived my timid life and yeah, I'd love to step out of that boundary, but I'm comfortable with my timid life.
Right, exactly. And it's understandable, but
It,
like,
it's overly orange is overly relatable. Like anyone who's listening to this little podcast right now, like you'll find something to relate to in this.
yeah, oh yeah, 100%. And then like obviously the future self in that whole in the true timeline just doesn't want her to live with regrets because obviously as we stated, she's with Hiruto as a baby. They're like best friends. And it kind of obviously episode to episode comes more into play. But we all know
So
Hiruto has a huge crush on Naho. Like,
so after watching, so we're gonna jump around a little bit, of course, because this is the podcast.
yeah,
But
of course.
after watching the OVA, I don't know how I feel about the whole situation. Like, yeah, I love the fact that throughout the anime, spoiler alert, Kakeru and Nahu end up together. But watching the OVA, it kind of breaks you a little bit because you're rooting for Kakeru and Naho to sort of be together through this whole point because you realize that, like, so one of the things you start to realize, I think probably about second or third episode, you start to, but fucking Kakeru is head over fucking heels for Naho.
Yeah.
And like Naho's got the letter because we talked about future letters. She's got the letter so she can tell what's going on with Naho and Kakeru and everything else. But Karu was head over heels for Naho. Naho didn't sort of realize it. She was too timid to realize it in the past. But you really start to realize it as you see Kakeru's interactions with Naho.
Right, and it doesn't
And
help
they
that
are
Naho is like you said, timid and kind of like obviously an innocent little girl who doesn't exactly
and
understand how to receive and give emotions on top of it.
and she really goes with the flow of things. That's kind of her problem. And you see it's almost painful from a male perspective because you see the fact that Karu loves Naho. Naho doesn't sort of give him the same affection back that he would give her, even though she has this information, but she refuses to read this information. But you sit and you look at the fact that Naheho, I'm
Naho.
having a brain fart. Nacho and Dunkaroo. We're gonna keep saying Nacho and Dunkaroo. Well, at least I'm going to because I think it's fucking hilarious. Like you guys might be mildly offended, but fuck you. That's not a very
Damn.
audience, but fuck you. So you kind of see that Dunkaroo loves Naho. At least in like the first three episodes, you can even tell like he's got a special attachment to this girl,
Yeah,
and you kind of realize.
he even like comes out and asks if she has anybody that she's interested in at one point, and she just kind of
And
goes, huh, yeah,
no, nah, I'm not interested in anyone. I had a baby with this guy in the future, but I don't know that because he told me
yeah.
not to tell.
I was just gonna say, and then like it's really neat because like not to jump a little further, even because I don't give a fuck. This isn't an actual review, but like how when in the OVA you get to see them actually writing their letters to themselves, and Naho
That
asks,
broke me, dude. The
she
OVA fucking broke me.
she asks Hiruto if she should write about him, and he says no, don't even mention it. And in his own letter, because everybody writes to themselves. The main five, obviously not Kakeru because he's fucking
And you don't realize this till like, so it's a 13 episode anime. You don't realize this till like episode 10 that
right.
everyone has fucking wrote. And you kind of sort of had this suspicion that the girls, Azusa and Takiko have written to themselves, but it's only a fucking suspicion because they never confirm it. The only characters that are ever confirmed to have written to themselves up to this point are fucking Harito and fucking Naho.
Right. And so like Hiruto writes in his own letter that like, in the future, you have a kid with Naho, but guess what? Sucks to suck. You're gonna get Kakeru and Naho together because these two are truly in love. And I kind of sucked dick and just like slipped in the crevices like a snake
And
after the
oh
situation
my
happened.
god, dude. Oh my god, that moment where he like kind of realizes like I think
I'm a
it's
piece of shit.
like probably about like because what the anime is that OVA is like fucking hour 15 minutes something like that
Yep.
minus the what you call it, the
Recap.
fucking recap. But you kind of sort of realize like he really fucking hates himself for it. Like once he realizes that you know Kakiro and Nahiru were kind of supposed to be together, and he kind of ignored that, and he was the only one who really realized what was going on.
Yeah,
He
and
sort of hates himself for it, and you
right.
you really feel for him because like you're like you really sit in your own perspective and realize like what if I'm in that situation, like would I tell this other person that like yeah you guys are like fucking in love, you guys are meant to be together, or would I, being a person who's in love with other person, do it myself? Like could I
Right.
be that person?
And then on top of that, he has that weight on his shoulder where if he didn't necessarily shove in and take advantage of Naho's emotions, that if she would have went after Kakeru after discovering what they know, that
Would he
maybe
still fucking be alive today?
right. So he's got that double weight on his shoulders of the fact that his wife was meant to be with another guy and that his friend committed suicide, which would
And
have could
not
have been
even
prevented.
friend, fucking best friend.
Right. So it's like, holy shit! You get this
Like
double layer of emotions going on, and like so throughout the episodes, obviously with like Rio and Kakeru dating, they try their hardest to like obviously Kakeru keeps trying to talk to Naho, but Naho's been avoiding him because she's kind of trying to not necessarily follow the letter, which is something she should probably do a little bit because like it keeps telling her, don't avoid him, talk to him, but she keeps avoiding him. And like
and
finally,
it's not even like she can help avoiding him because she's reading the letter the whole time and having this knowledge. Like she's reading it as things come because you can obviously see watching the OVA and watching the series that Hirito is reading it beforehand. He's read the whole thing. He sees what's going on. Naho, however, is reading it as things happen, but she still can't bring herself to make the changes that are
right.
necessary for Kakeru to live.
So Hiruto steps in and says, "Look, bitch, stop being a
I got
pussy."
the letter too. I got the
He
fucking letter too,
he
motherfucker.
he doesn't admit that yet.
I thought that
Be-
was the point where they were sitting in the park together, and he was like, "You got a letter through Kakeru too."
that was after this
Oh
scene.
no, this
Yeah,
this was in
because
the hallway,
yeah,
the
he
fucking
stops her.
staircase.
She's running up. She's running
Like,
away, and he stops her
yep.
and says, "Go after him." And after he says, "Go after him," the other two girls are there too, and they're like, like cheering him on.
And
And then
and
we
if you
find
watch the
out,
whole series, you know the other girls got two letters too.
right? And so it's one of those ones where, like, in my opinion, I would time travel series. I like to watch it the first time and then rewatch it again from the other perspective, knowing of everything that's going to happen, where you pick up the subtle clues afterwards. Fucking
I
brilliant.
think I'm gonna do the same damn thing too, honestly. Like
Yeah.
Orange is gonna be something I'm gonna rewatch. Like I'm not
Oh,
gonna lie. There's a few ones that I rewatch. Um are you familiar with Walsh K?
which one?
Welcome to the NHK.
No, no idea.
So I've rewatched that a few times, and let me get like a synopsis up for it because it's been a while since I did my last rewatch.
Well, even better. Let me just look it up here.
Yeah, look it up real quick. But that's one that I feel like you need to rewatch. So since we tangent and recommend a lot of different sort of shit during this, by the fact that I've had a few beers, so if you don't want to listen to me ramble, like you don't have to, but you probably should because I'm fucking great at rambling. Welcome
It's
to the
so
NHK is about this guy who is a he's a neat. So
he's
no, you know, we all know what neat is at this point. But he's a neat. He's shut in. Meets this girl who wants to pull him out of being a neat, but he thinks his whole life is a conspiracy against him.
yeah.
And the more times you watch that particular anime, the more times you understand it. It's kind of the same vein of like with Orange. The more times you watch it, the more times you understand it. And that's one we should cover, honestly, because I don't know if you'll love it, but I really enjoyed that anime.
I'll definitely give it a watch. I mean, there's a lot of shit I'd like to cover, honestly. It's just the amount of time.
Yeah, we should cover Kill a Kill because that first episode is golden. It, I don't think the rest of the series is golden, but like the first 15 minutes, the first like 3 minutes of the first episode is fucking golden.
Fucking A. Yeah, I mean, you're not wrong. And then,
Like where
and then,
he's running down the stairs after the dude. Like my fucking god, dude. But where were we at? So we're at the
so,
point where
yeah,
fucking
yeah,
this is
so,
right before what's his nuts? Right before fucking Hiruto admits that he has seen a letter. So he is pushing really hard for these two to get together because this guy has read his whole letter up and down, but Naho has only read her letter up to the point where things are happening.
yeah, and then, like, I guess a little bit
So
before
he
this, he also, like, pushes really hard for Kakeru to become a main member of the soccer team because at first he was just going to observe because, like I stated, like, his mom didn't want him to join any clubs. And obviously, at this point, we know that she killed herself.
because she needed him to be there because she knew the type of feeling she was having.
Right, right. So obviously, Hiruto got him to join the soccer club, like full on, straight up join the soccer club because he's following this list to a T. And so she
Dude,
goes and
so
talks to
so
him.
before we get further into this, the moment where he fucking I'm sorry to interrupt, but the moment where he fucking gets him to join the soccer club is fucking hilarious. The whole 10 minutes later, fucking 20 minutes later, an hour later, and he's still sitting there holding his hand trying to get him to fucking join the soccer club,
Yeah, and
dude.
the best
I
part
was kind
is
of
like,
cracking up there at that point 'cause it reminded me of SpongeBob. Like, I'm not gonna lie, you're of that SpongeBob generation too. But
oh,
like it reminded me of SpongeBob.
and like, yeah, and like, I mean, I didn't really enjoy SpongeBob, to be honest with you, but, but, uh,
Come on,
but,
you loved it, bro.
no, I didn't.
Everyone loved it. Come on, you loved it.
No.
So how old were you when SpongeBob kind of came out? That would have been like, so what did you say? You know,
I was like I think like 5 or 6 when it came out.
it makes sense actually that you wouldn't have loved it.
Well, everybody my age
There's a
loved it,
whole
but it's
there was also a whole weird generation of SpongeBob that literally got more farted because of SpongeBob.
yeah.
I hope that sounded good because I literally fucking moved my mic closer to my face to say that a little quieter in like a whisper tone. So like
Oh no, it was all caught in there. I got it. I got it. But
it's a
like
whispered tone, guys, but like you didn't hear that from me. I don't
no,
want to get canceled.
no. There's no cancellation here. Fuck them. But like the
Fuck
cool
'em.
thing is like obviously we'll get into that a little bit more at the very very end here. But like you get to see in the OVA a little more into detail how much Hiruto actually begged Kakeru to join the soccer club, which was kind of the cool thing. Is like he stated earlier, the first half's like a recap, but before it gets into necessarily the second half where it's mostly main
So
story, it shows
so what?
alternative scenes to the main story, which I find really fascinating in that aspect.
So the OVA I think was about an hour long, right?
Yep, right around there, yeah.
So if you guys are planning on watching this, honestly, skip the first half hour.
I'd
And
say
this is
I'd
just my recommendation. This is just my recommendation. Skip the first half hour of the OVA.
I'd
Watch
say
the
that
OVA. Oh, hold on. I'm not gonna let you have this right now. This is my recommendation of how someone as a newcomer to the series should watch this series. Skip the first half of the OVA, the first half hour. Watch the OVA, and then watch the series.
you're wrong.
No, so I feel like sometimes there's this weird way to watch things. So we'll track back to Star Wars because I feel like we've talked Star Wars on this before. So I feel like the best way to watch Star Wars is watch episode 1, 2. Wait, let me think about it. So no, it's episode 1, episode 2, episode 3. No, not episode 3. It's episode 4, 5, 3, and then 6.
Oh my god.
Watching these episodes out of proper order work in a weird way. So, yes, if you were to watch episode 1 through 13, you get Naho and Kakeru's story. But I think that what really impacts the series is fucking Kirito and Kakeru's story.
But here's
And
the
I feel like if you watch that last half hour of the OVA and then watch the whole series, you'd get a different perspective on it.
it'd be ass.
No, I don't think it'd be ass.
Because here's
I
the thing.
don't.
You wouldn't get all of that construct and depth of the relationship between everybody to show you how close like as friends they were before he like shows you like, hey, this is my life and this is kind of what happened and this is kind of my fault. you would
Okay,
you wouldn't
think
get
about
that.
it. Think about it this.
Yeah, I'm
Think
thinking.
about it this way. Think about it this way. So you'd get the perspective of two best friends who were pining over the same girl.
Yeah.
And then you'd get the perspective of a guy with regret over the fact that his friend had died over this same girl.
Yeah.
And then you would get the whole series about this guy trying to fix the fact that they pined over the same girl. And I might not realize it right away because it is very much a story of the girl and the guy in the series. But about halfway through, you'd reach that point where it's like, oh my God, this guy has been, Hirito has been this whole time trying to set these two up.
Yeah.
Like,
I think they did
I feel
fine
like
with
if
the
you were to watch
timeline.
it and I think if you were to watch it in that order, you'd get a different perspective from the series. And like maybe at some point, me and you should go back and watch it in that order, like half the OVA and then the whole series, and then come back and review it again.
Oh my god.
But so sometimes when you do shit like that, like with Star Wars, so think about Star Wars. So
Yeah.
you watch episode 1,
Hmm.
You see Qui-Gon, Obi-Wan, and Anakin. You watch episode 2, you see Clone Wars, how it impacts Anakin. And then you watch episode fucking 6, it goes into his son's life. And if you were a first time Star Wars watcher, you would not know that this was his son. But it goes into his son's life,
Yeah.
and you get to see kind of sort of what happens after he becomes dark. And you come back and watch episode 3, and you see the fact that he does become dark. He actually becomes Lord Vader. So
Oh,
it's almost like you watch the flashback, then what happens during the events, then another flashback, and the end of the events. So it's like watching Star Wars through Vader's perspective.
I
If you were
mean,
to watch
sure.
it the way I had suggested just now, you would be watching it 100% through Hiruto's perspective.
I mean, I can kind of get what you're saying, but it's like one day when we actually hang out here, I we got that's a project though. But my favorite
That is.
actual complete series of all time is the Monogatari series. And ironically, in Japan today, the compilation film comes out, which I'm very excited to watch when that comes out on streaming. But it's one of those series where, technically speaking, it's a total of like I'm trying to think. I have it on my rack here. I'm just trying to think of, technically speaking, how many different subdivisions it is. It's like um I mean, you got Bake Monogatari, and then you got the Kizu Monogatari series, which is the films, and then you've got the Nisei Monogatari Part 1 and Part 2, and then you got like Neko Monogatari and Suki Monogatari and Koyo and Owari, and then Zoku, which in
How
Japanese,
many how many episodes is this in fucking total?
it's like
Like how many
six.
hours are we gonna spend sitting on my couch?
Oh god, dude, it's like 60 some episodes and 3 films.
So me and you are gonna have to like
A couple
literally
weekends,
have a whole weekend where you don't work. Oh, we're
or
gonna do it. We're gonna
you,
fucking do it. And
you
what we're
bo-
gonna do? Okay, I am promising you right now, Squid fans. What we're gonna do is I am going to get a webcam,
yeah.
and we're gonna film some of this.
Well, shit.
We're gonna film
If
us
I'm
actually watching it and talking about it,
if I'm over,
and
we
then
could
we're
just
gonna
do it. We
we're
could
gonna
just do
show
it in
you our
person.
beautiful faces.
Yeah,
I know.
but
We're gonna show you our beautiful faces because you have seen our beautiful faces in the thumbnails.
I mean, you've seen my face before. It's mostly just your face, live action.
You've seen my face in the thumbnails, but guess what? I have a wonderful mustache now. I've been shaving the beard, so you've
which,
only seen the bearded thumbnails.
which, speaking of thumbnails, man, this thumbnail is pretty good. I mean,
This,
I
I
felt
love
pretty.
it, dude.
I felt pretty
Your
good about this
thumbnails,
one.
dude. Your thumbnails are top fucking notch. When like, I'm not gonna say when they involve me because that makes me sound conceited as shit. Which I am a little conceited because I do think I am a very attractive male. Like,
Okay.
ladies, you like anime? You got some thick thighs that could wrap my head? We can talk,
But
but I'm not that conceited. These thumbnails though fucking crack me the fuck up. Like I fucking love them so much.
oh, good, good. But yeah, no, the Monogatari in Japanese literally means story. So like each of these are like a chapter of the story. But what we were getting to, my point was, is like there's technically you can watch them in a release order, but technically speaking, you have to mix a couple around because like the original Bake is like technically after the next series, which is Kizu, and that's the 3 films, which is a prequel to Bake. And then you go and you got to kind of like jump around because it's this whole timeline thing, and it's kind of a mind boggle your first time through. You really have to keep up with it, but like, and you're really gonna hate me because that's one where there's no dub, which makes sense why there's no dub because there's
So
a lot there's a lot of contextual I guess Japanese jokes and references that wouldn't exactly make sense in a dub, if that makes sense. So
So
I
here's the thing.
here's the
I'm not gonna
thing.
hate you because there's not a dub. Because as we've proven with the gushing over Magic Girls, which I'm sure me and you will,
Do you want?
unless you cover that by yourself, I'd like to cover that with you. I kind of sort of watched the second episode, most of it at least today.
I was gonna say, did
Um,
you watch that
and
second episode? It
Chain
was
Soldier.
oh,
So I don't think I watched all of the second episode. I think I still got a few minutes left on it. I'm at the
okay.
point where are you planning on this at all yourself?
I'm not doing it myself. No.
Okay. So I'm at the point where so it's right after she finds all the porno mags, the BDSM mags,
Oh God, yeah.
and sort of um literally it's right after she fucks with that one fucking girl and then wakes up in her bed, and I had to stop it at there because I didn't have enough time to watch it at work.
Okay, so you're about
Yeah,
halfway done with the episode.
yeah, I'm watching fucking etchy at work. Like, go fuck
That's
yourself, guys.
eh,
You can live better. You can live better. Don't
boss
worry
makes
about it. Like,
bo-
I go to the bathroom. I go to the bathroom, take a shit, watch some hentai. Like,
boss makes a
we're not
dollar.
even.
I make a dime. That's why I jack off on company time.
I never heard it that way. Like, that's why I shit on company time. Is usually when I heard it that way. But like, that makes more sense. Like, I should start fucking carrying a backpack to work and fucking bringing my pocket pussy there. Cause like,
Yeah,
that
they
sounds like
could
a good time. That sounds like a good time.
get your kicks on the work time. You know.
Speaking of like, let's tangent a little bit more. Speaking of my degeneracy phase that I'm going through, I started watching a hentai like Empire Succubus, and I'm like, well, she got like straight up fucking three-wayed gang banged in like the fucking first episode. I think I want to watch this forever.
Yeah,
Like,
Ikazuki and his magical semen.
I think that's probably what it is. Like the
It.
fucking succubus is like a redhead.
Oh yeah, no, it is. Trust me, I own it on Blu-ray.
That was pretty fucking good, dude.
You
Like
don't
I
even.
was
You don't
fully
even.
fucking
I
I was
own it.
fully engorged the whole time. Like, I'm not even gonna fucking lie. Like, I was like, dude, I could fucking jack off to this. Like, this is good.
You're talking to a guy that has spent like $20,000 on anime in his life. I have out of my 4 racks, I have two, three-ish, which is like 70, 80 titles of just hentai.
What? You should just like straight fucking recommend me some uncensored hentai. Like, I'm not gonna lie. Like,
Oh
so I
yeah,
started going to now we're gonna do a little plug here because
let's
I'm gonna say the website's
plug away, baby. Is it hentai
name, but like
or is it
um
the eight?
it's
Is it?
hanime.tv.
Oh,
I went to that website, and this
you,
is where I watched this, and I had seen it on Pornhub before.
you too good for the hentai haven, the HH?
I have not gone to that one, but I probably will. But so here's the thing, ladies and gentlemen, hentai is like the perfect representation of like what a guy and a girl should look like to a guy and a girl. Like, females, think about this. You want big fucking dick. That's
Yeah,
what you want.
yeah,
Us guys, we want a fit body with nice titties.
yeah.
Like, there's always the exception to the rule. But
It's an exception to the rule. The rules can be bended.
the rules can be bended just like you ladies. But if you dress up like a schoolgirl, like, honestly, me and Squids will probably fucking love that. But we're not going to talk about that right now because I'm
and,
going to
and that
try to work towards a point where we can actually get him monetized. So,
yeah, and if you do that, at Squid right any anime on Instagram. I don't mind a tag.
And he'll just share it to me too. Like,
Yeah,
don't
I
worry
will.
about it. You'll be fine.
You will get all the recognition in the world. I promise you. You put on a sailor uniform, I will. I'll be happy.
Oh, oh,
Go back to those
like oh my
blue
god,
striped panties.
blue striped panties. But if you do that, just realize that if you're within the area that we are in, which I will not disclose at this point because I'm not willing to dox both of us, we might Eiffel Tower you. We might take you to France. Do you want to go to France?
I'd
Because
rather go.
we can bring you really close to going to France, but without actually going to France.
I think I'd rather go to South Korea at this point in my life.
Dude, dude, you don't, I think you're taking it too literally right now. I really think you are.
I just want to see their
Because
soul.
like you got to understand, Mr. Squid's guy, Mr. Matty.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to get a girl in between us so we can high
Oh.
five at the same time. Like
Oh. Yeah. We can.
that's what I mean by taking to France. A little spit roasting. Like if you want, dude.
Oh.
I was at work today, and this dude I work with was talking about fucking how he rearranged his apartment
Yeah.
and how his living room looks more trippy, and he got like this bigger tapestry out there that looks a little more trippy. I straight up looked at him and I'm like, dude, now fucking bear with me for a second. We find ourselves a fucking nice thick lady with some nice thick thighs and some thick ass titties,
Yeah.
and we lay her down on a
Yeah.
fucking black bed sheet, and
Well,
we
of
just get like
course.
10 guys to bukkake all over her. And
That's
then
one
you
guy.
fucking hang that, you just hang that up in your living room, and when you turn the black light on, it'll look like one of those fucking trippy fucking flags. And then
That's
you'll have a girl over, and she'll be like, where'd this come from? And you'll be like, oh, we just bukkake this girl. It's no big deal, man. Like, I didn't have sex with her. We just fucking jerked off on her.
logically.
That's the point where that's the point where I'm trying to get us at. I'm trying to advertise this as like, we'll bring you to France. Like, don't worry about it.
Don't worry about it. It's fine. So
As long as you dress up like a sailor, we'll bring you to France.
yeah, I'll even take Sailor Moon, but I'd rather Sailor Mercury. But or
I haven't watched enough Sailor Moon personally myself. It's one of my animes that's on my list actually because I know it's essentially Dragon Ball Z for girls.
nah, it's better than Dragon Ball Z.
Okay, okay. You need to fuck off with that notion right now because Dragon Ball Z is phenomenal. I don't care what anyone says. I don't care what anyone fucking says. Frieza says this planet's gonna blow up in like what, like 5 minutes? It's gonna take 4 fucking episodes. I don't fucking care. It's a
Well,
meme at this point.
yeah,
But I'm gonna enjoy every 4 fucking episodes of that. Like,
because Toei Animation was going too damn quick, and Toriyama is a slow ass motherfucker. And
yeah,
so,
I'll admit that like Dragon Ball Z is a fucking classic, man. But like, yeah,
so after that, she talks to him, and she talks to him, and he ends up breaking up with Rio, right?
exactly.
And
And
and they,
it's a weird fucking situation because it's not like she just ends up talking to him. Like Rio, you need to understand, she's just a fucking bitch. Like she knocks her straight down in the hallway, fucking lets her fucking fall over and all that shit and embarrass herself. And
yeah, because yeah,
fucking Kakaru,
they have
he sees this, I'll fucking like, realize this, and he just understands. But
well, the thing
oh,
was they go to
if
the
we're,
school.
dude, if we're getting to this point, we got to get into Taco as part of this point. Like,
Well, we're getting there. We're getting there because like yeah, so like yeah, Rio's about ready to grime here, right? And of course Takiko comes up and she fucking just is getting ready just to fucking smack the shit out of Rio.
Dude,
But then
I let her fuck.
realizes,
I'd let her sock me in the fucking face. Like I'm not even gonna fucking lie. Like,
oh,
oh, I
100%.
would,
But then
dude. I fucking would.
she stops herself and realizes that, that's probably not the best thing to do, sadly, and pretty much tells her, if she frickin' does that, she'll just expose her for being a POS, because everybody thinks Rio's just as high and mighty girl. And so she backs down for this time, because obviously
I'd like.
they have a school festival, right?
Yep.
And while they're at the school festival, there's gonna be fireworks, obviously, and so Naho wants to meet up with Kakeru, and
And she actually goes out of her way and listens to a letter and invites him to the fireworks. Like,
yeah, because
let's put that out there.
yeah, she's starting to follow the notes again, because her future, the main timeline, the perfect time, or not perfect, the true timeline, pretty much tells her, this is the one thing you cannot miss. Like, you have to do this. So
You have
you
to fight him
have,
because this is so. It's not the point where she falls in love with Kakeru, because when she falls in love with Kakeru it's very early on in the series. Like, we kind of skipped around a little bit, but where she
yeah,
falls in love with Kakeru is the moment where she is playing softball, because she is very good at softball. But what
yeah.
happens is
That's like the
they
first
get
thing.
her.
Yeah.
I know, but they get like her shoe size wrong,
Yep.
and fucking Kakeru's all like, "Oh, you probably get shoes right," and then she's like, "Oh, well, I love you, Kakeru," and that's kind of how that happens.
Right.
It's hard to follow. It really is.
That's like the first thing she
Like,
does where she follows the note. Yeah, is because they're playing a game of softball, and she's like, they're gonna ask you to pitch hit and you need to do it because you're gonna regret it. And she's definitely hesitant on doing it, but she ends up doing it, hits a grand slam out of the park. But like you said, her shoes are too small, she's in pain. So Kakadu says, you need to get that fixed, even though he helps her out. But the school
this
festival,
is like
that's
this
like
is like the
episode
moment where they
2.
really get this. I don't think it's episode 2. I think it's like episode 3 or 4. But like, this is the moment where they really get like that time alone, and she sort of comes out of her shell and follows the notes to a T. Because even at that point where she's like, "Your shoes are too small, you should still hit," she's not following those notes to a T. Like, she still hits, but she still has her hesitations in that
Right.
moment.
Right. Agreed.
Like,
Agreed.
she's still like, my feet hurts. Like, I don't wanna do it. And then she finally does it, and that's where they fall in love with each other. But the school festival is where
Yeah.
they
So that
really start to hit it off, because she Naho as a character comes into her own, and she's like, you know what? I'm gonna take this chance. I'm gonna ask Kakeru, and there's a lot of things that happen
I was gonna
in
say,
that
because
moment of time where like they clean the pool together. Uh, Riho kind of corners not Kakeru, but Riho corners Naho, and it's kind of just being a standard, bully.
yeah, she wants
Riho
to see.
slaps at one of her friends or something like that. And this comes back to the OVA where like Hirito is in a place where he just shouldn't be at that moment, but he's there, and he
Right.
sort of facilitates the relationship between Naho and Kakeru, and is like, here's band-aids, give them to Kakeru. She's gonna need them.
Right. And
So they're
this all
cleaning.
what's that?
That
Oh.
This all happens in one episode.
Yeah, and then the whole reason that she pins her in the first place is going back to episode 3 or 4, because she's been making bentos for Kakeru, because obviously he says his mom doesn't make him lunches. Well, we know that, but so he ends up
Mom is
buying.
dead after like the first episode. Like, that's what
Right.
we know.
So he ends up buying her this hairpin as a thank you. And That's
And
the
what we also have to talk about though is how much Naho has separated from Kakeru because of the relationship between Naho and Rio at this
right,
point. Because she doesn't want to ruin this relationship. She wants him to have that chance to have that relationship because she hasn't read ahead in the letter very
right,
much. It's like,
right.
again, this is why I feel like you need to watch half of the OVA
No,
before you watch the series.
no,
Like I think it impacts differently. Like as
it's not how
someone who has
that's not how time
it's not how it
travel
was
anime
released.
works. It's about the
Okay, so
mystery.
I'm talking to someone who is not into time travel anime.
Well, then they shouldn't watch it.
They should still watch it. They should still watch it, dude, because so our generation specifically because we're both millennials.
Yep.
I'm going to say something that is going to not get this episode monetized at all.
Well,
Again,
it wasn't
I
gonna
already
be in
said
the
it once
first
before,
place.
but suicidal ideation is something that a lot of us millennials deal with. We don't talk
Depression.
about it a lot, but a suicidal ideation, not even depression, like the fact that like thinking, if I would have done this way, it'd be better. Or like since I didn't do this way, like maybe I should just not be here in the first place.
Yeah, that's definitely
It's
a
something
vibe.
it's something that a lot of us deal with. Like I'm sure you deal with it too. I'm not
Oh
going to
yeah.
get into your situation, but we've talked about both of our situations and how they sort of relate to each other.
Yep. I mean, it's definitely something everybody, I think, our age definitely thinks about. And we're at that generation where it's because this came out ironically in 2016, and basing on the timeline they place and what year it takes place in and everything like that, ironically, these characters are the exact same.
So
They're the exact same age I am.
exactly, like, but you
Legitimately,
got to
same year
realize.
and everything.
So I'm not going to delve into your situation. I'm not going to delve into our situation,
Right.
which is essentially the similar situation. But like, there's a point where you're like, you know what? If I wasn't here, would this be better
Right.
for these people that I've taken in my life and I've cared about?
Yep. Oh yeah, 100%.
That's
This is like
that's that's what really hits hard about this series. Like,
it's so relatable. It's relatable
it's
as fuck.
it's relatable in a way that's negative, and it's fine to think about those negatives. Like, I'm gonna tell all your viewers right here who are gonna view this. I don't know how many it's gonna be, but like we've been there, we've struggled. Me and Squids, Mr. Etchy guy, and Squids, we've had very similar struggles together,
Oh yeah. If life is tough, it
and
every
we've
situation's
probably
different, but it gets better. It
we we've probably thought the same thoughts, and I think this is a good way. Like of course we're going to talk about more about what happens in the mid of the anime, but I think this is a good time to segue to the end for
well,
a second and then
well,
come back to it because it is about time travel. You don't have to cover the timeline completely in the same the 100% in the same. Do you agree?
I mean, yeah, that works fine. I mean, we're about the halfway point
So
anyways, so I mean,
so how this anime sort of ends, at least the series. Kakeru follows the same path he would have, except for Mr. Saku, who we don't talk about much, does
Mr.
not have.
The smart man himself.
Very. So, what happens in the true timeline? Kakeru takes his bike.
And
He starts
bikes.
driving and
Yeah.
bikes and bikes and bikes. But he bikes right in front of a vehicle. That vehicle is a big truck. That big truck cannot stop. He dies, unfortunately. In the alternate timeline, he decides that he wants to live. And the reason why he decides he wants to live is he does not know what good things could happen tomorrow. I think that's one big message that a lot of us had those self. Well, we're not getting monetized, so
No.
suicidal ideations. Suicidal ideations. If you have dealt with them, Kakeru looks at it in the sense of, I don't know what good is going to happen tomorrow. And that is a beautiful sentiment because you do not know
Absolutely not.
what you're going to miss out on.
And the big
And
difference.
you want to end it right now. And that's why I feel like the series is so relatable to people like around our age. You might want to end it now, but you don't know what's going to happen tomorrow.
Right. And it also comes to the aspect of like, obviously, with this time around, I mean, everybody knowing what happens because obviously we skipped a little bit, but essentially after the festival and knocking everything down, a little later on, they go to New Year's Day to go to a oh, was it New Year's? I'm trying to think. I know it
And
was December.
it was another festival.
Yeah, like I think it was
Um,
a New Year's Shrine Festival.
Takeru and Naho sort of have a argument because of the
Because
whole
his
situation that Kakeru
right,
has had.
because
His
his
mom.
yep, and his grandma's a little sick, so he wants to, you know, check on her, which it is what it is, and
Yeah,
he
you
he
got to take care of your family.
right exactly, but she, I guess necessarily doesn't word it right per se, and he gets mad about it because he doesn't want to hurt her because that's his biggest concern about them even dating is the fact that he doesn't want to hurt her in the way that his obviously his mother ended up. So he feels like being more spacious is the best way to go, but not necessarily. And this is where the main key to the true timeline versus this Tron timeline hits is when obviously our boy Hiroto, instead of like a shoulder to cry on as a dick to ride on, goes for the it's gonna be okay, go chase him down aspect again. And that's like the huge twist in the situation, which in my opinion was the nail in the
That
coffin.
moment,
Yeah, the nail in the
that
coffin where
moment,
that moment. That moment,
that moment where
yeah,
she's calling him, Naho's calling him,
and he breaks his
and he
fucking
throws his
phone.
phone.
Yeah,
Oh my god, dude, that broke me. Like
he's
like Squid fans, I will fully admit that I know how to cry. I did not know I was ready to cry that much.
oh god, I always cry. That's my thing. I watched
That
I
like that I watch nowadays because you watch normal TV, you cry, but you watch anime, you fucking cry.
oh I yeah I intentionally watch sad shit. Like that's that's kind of like one of my guilty pleasures is just really sad shit.
Yeah, because you get to release that emotion that you haven't been able to release because it's not expected of you to be released. Now this is more of a I'm not going to say toxic masculinity toward sort of thing because I don't believe in toxic masculinity. But like as men, we're not expected to cry. That's why we watch sad anime.
Yeah,
Uh,
And then on top of it, I mean, it's just nice being sad over somebody else's life over your own life, and a nice.
Whoa, whoa, bud! You just got a little more deep than even I have gotten, and I'm like, let's count right now.
Like it's just like the fact
I,
that you can like good storytelling. You can appreciate that shit. Am I wrong?
I'm not. You're not wrong. You're not
Yeah.
wrong. But like, it really gets to that point where it's like I can feel again
Right.
because we've dealt with so much shit through our lives. Like, I can
Yeah.
feel again. Like,
Right.
so I will say, anime is peak fiction writing,
Oh yeah,
and
because
Orange at this point is peak emotional fiction writing.
right. And
You,
like
you don't get much better than that. That's why it's like a 9.5 out of 10
yeah, there's there
or a 10 out of 10.
yeah, depending on your perspective. Like I said, I have very not necessarily hipster taste, but I have a very specific palette that sits to me cuz like if I only one on my top 10 list, my 10 out of 10s, that's bias, like in my opinion bias, is like Yu Yu Hakusho just for nostalgia. But
Exactly. Like
like for everything
dot hack
else,
sign.
I definitely would put a dot hack in a top 10. I've got
Dot hack sign specifically. Like
I've
I
got
don't even
like
remember what happens in it, but it's a top 10.
I've got like 97 Berserk. I've got like Planet After Story, Awardee
Man, it's
Monogatari.
so good.
Right? And
Have you watched Eden of the East yet?
Eden of East. I feel like I have. Oh, hold on, let me look. I feel like I have, but
Oh my god, dude, it's like Ghibli-esque animation and it's so fucking good. That's in my top 10 for fucking sure.
the series or the movie? I'm guessing.
Both.
Okay, I haven't watched it
If you
yet.
want, like I watched the OVA for Orange. You need to watch Eden of the East in both the movies.
I'll get to it probably this weekend. I'll do
You
it
should
this
do it, and
weekend.
then we should come back into a Squid Tales on it.
Cause like next week we also have to, or not necessarily. It doesn't have to be next week, but we could do it next week too. That Studio Mappa film that I've been talking about waiting for the last 2 years comes out on Netflix in 4 days.
Oh, okay, so I need to I need to know, not let you know, but I need to know, is it a 4-year-old appropriate? Like if he was sitting there watching the visuals on it, would he be fine?
I'm pretty sure. I know that it is PG-13.
Oh,
But
that's probably fine, but so it's coming out on Netflix.
yeah, it's Maburashi. It's that one I sent you a trailer of that came out last
I
fall,
know I know it's the one you sent me of a trailer of, but
and
remind me when it actually comes out, and I will cover it with you.
it comes out the 15th, so in 4 days. And
Speaking of coming out very recently,
you're gay?
are you going to? No, I like vagine and butthole, but only lady butthole.
Fair.
Are you going to watch the? Are you going to go to theaters to try and see the re-releases for the Gear and Logan movies?
The which movies?
Gear and Logon.
I
You
have no
know,
idea.
Gear and Logon. Like, you know Gear and Logon.
Do I?
I
Yeah.
mean, it's got like a big titty red-haired waifu who fires a sniper rifle, and then it's got this dude that like is like, I got this key, but it's also a drill. So we're gonna turn it into a giant robot
I
with my
don't.
buddy.
I don't think I know what that is.
What? You know what this is.
Do I?
You know what this is. You know what this is. You fucking know what this is. Like, fuck you.
Black and yellow.
Like Wiz Khalifa.
Yeah.
No,
You know what it is.
but there's an. You know what it is. But there's a fucking the anniversary editions of the movies are
Well,
gonna play in theaters,
I'll probably go watch
and
it
I think they're
anyways.
if they play in a theater near mine, I'm gonna go watch them because fucking like I don't know if I ever watched the movies. I watched the series because big titty redhead sniper.
I really hope
Like
that the Reze arc gets in theaters in America.
the Reze arc. I don't think I've ever seen that because
For,
I watched the full series, but I don't even know if I've ever watched the the movies too.
I'm talking about Chainsaw Man.
Oh, don't even like
I hope that
that
I hope
arc,
I hope that
dude. That
film,
arc is gonna make me cry. Like
dude.
that arc is gonna make me fucking cry. Like
Like,
I want them to end up together so fucking bad.
well, they don't.
But like
So,
let's spoil it for everyone who hasn't read ahead.
dude, the moment
Chainsaw Man,
before you
Chainsaw
spoil it,
Man.
before you spoil it, the moment season one ended and they showed Reze for 2 seconds, I was like, here she comes, the home wrecker herself.
So for everyone who has not read ahead in Chainsaw Man, Makima's a fucking cunt.
Well, yeah, we all knew that.
No, not everyone knew that. I kind of have my suspicions, but like
she's
Makima's a fucking cunt. Like
she's one of the big four.
she's the main antagonist of what I would say is the first chapter of Chainsaw Man, even though we've seen the first part of the anime. And I would like to plug my buddy. I'm not going to plug his name right now, but that motherfucker got me, I think, volume 1 through 8 physical. Excuse me, I kind of burped there. Like,
Oh,
I probably shouldn't be doing that kind of shit, but I had a few beers.
you
That's
can
how these
do
podcasts go.
you can do
You
whatever you
know it at
want.
these points. But he got me the first like 1 through 8, I want to say, for Chainsaw Man on physical, which I'm very happy about. Like that motherfucker knows me. It's that kid that added you on Facebook because of the bullshit talking me and you get into.
Oh, that's fair. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, but it's 1 through Chainsaw Man volumes 1 through 11. So
Probably the.
just past the current volume, I think, because I think we're on volume 12 or 13.
I was just gonna say because I know he took a break and then started rewriting it.
Denji goes to high school.
All right, fucking P.
All right, fucking No, I have a feeling. So my buddy was talking to me. Now we're gonna get on a little tangent because that's what we do on Squid Tales, and I'm gonna say it like fucking 15 more times. But my buddy told me that. So you might have a little more information on this, but like the four horsemen in the Japanese culture, one of them is control.
hmm Yeah.
Is it?
Yep.
Okay. So I might be wrong at this point because the four horsemen in the American, English, Anglo-Saxon, whatever the fuck you want to call it, is famine, death, a pestilence, and it's not control. Famine, death, pestilence,
You got this.
disease. No, pestilence is is disease. Why don't I got this? Famine, death, pestilence. I don't have this. But he thought that Makima be in control for all of those who haven't read it, because I actually have a power phone case right here. I am loving Chainsaw Man right now. I'm reading it as it comes out. But I didn't think Makima would be one of the main four, just because. Oh, famine? No, I fucked up again. No, at least for us English speakers, Control is not one of the four horsemen. I can't remember what the fourth horseman is, but famine, pestilence, death. Nope, we're not gonna try it. Had too many beers to try it. But I didn't think Makima would be one of the main four. My buddy thinks she's gonna be one of the main four,
Has
which
he
if you've talked about it,
ha, has he
Control
read
being one of the four horsemen of the Japanese culture.
has he has
War.
has
Because I
he
read the last
I was gonna say, has he
bit
read
in
read the whole
War.
manga?
Because, yeah, no, he has. I don't think he's read the whole manga, but, like, so at least from a Western perspective, it's pestilence, famine, and death and war. War is the current that we're working on right now. Control has nothing to do with that. He's thinking that Makima was one of the four horsemen. She was one of the four horsemen.
Yeah, she's one of the great
Personally,
four devils. Yeah.
so the Great Four Devils. So in Japanese culture, it would be Control, War. What would be
She
the other two?
Maki, well, technically speaking, it all depends because I know. I'm not saying I'm a Japanese cultural expert, but I know, like, obviously, like some regions of Japan, thanks to the Anglo-Saxons, mostly like the more southern-esque. I think it's like Hokkaido and a couple of the regions are Christian, but a lot of Japan's also like Buddhist and shit. And like obviously
Yeah,
there's like the four heavenly kings, which is like, like he who fears everything and he who causes growth and like he who upholds the realm and like he who sees all. And like I'm not a Buddhist expert, that'd probably be Mitch, honestly, because I think Mitch practices Buddhism, but it's it
we
it's
should probably include Mitch on one of these podcasts sometime. Like
that's that
honestly,
that was the plan, honestly. I was gonna try to get Mitch on this one, but he's got some family business that came up to deal with, so that didn't work out. But I think one of these times I'm gonna get Mitch involved in this, but so we can have a three-way. But no, Makima,
oh yeah, Daddy.
Makima is definitely she's not a good soul. Like I told
Well,
Mitch.
I'm not saying she's a good soul, but I don't think she's one of the main four evils.
Oh, I think so, 100%.
So you think we got three more evils and then we're done?
It's hard. I mean, I don't want to spoil shit, but we've been doing it the whole time. Like
Yeah, we have.
if I remember correctly, Denji kills Makima.
She eats her.
Yeah,
He eats her.
right, right. And so obviously, I feel like there's going to be three more baddies coming up. Um,
Yeah, I feel like we got the four horsemen of Western culture coming up.
yeah, oh yeah, and I'm excited for
So
that.
I feel like we got four main baddies coming up, and not to spoil anything, but I
We
have a
already did.
feeling that War. Yeah, we did, but I have a feeling that War is going to at some point join Denji's side.
Oh yeah, I could see that. And
I can
like,
see that too.
right, exactly. I think it's gonna be good.
Like,
I'm excited.
I'm
But
excited for this fucking next couple episodes of a next couple volumes of Chainsaw Man because I'm gonna read it before the fucking manga comes out because that the anime comes out because it's fucking we're gonna get a movie and then fucking we're gonna have like 2 arcs of fucking Denchi and
See,
his shenanigans.
to me, it makes. I know you're kind of mad about it, but to me, the Reze arc kind of makes sense to be a movie, considering how technically it's not like super short, but it's short enough where it could make sense to fit in a film.
Yeah, that's what I think too, but I think it would be better fleshed out in just an arc of the series.
Yeah, but I don't know.
But
I think
I
it'll be a good movie.
understand that after we get past, I understand that after we get past the Reze arc, like we're at least gonna get one more season out of his stuff, just dealing with the assassins.
Yeah.
I understand that to the point where Reze is. So let's take the end of the Reze arc all the way up to the beginning of his high school arc. Spoilers for anyone who didn't read this already, but the beginning of his high school arc, that's enough to fill a whole another season of anime. So
Yeah.
I feel like we're not even going to see death for another fucking season.
Oh, guaranteed not. No. But like it's just like another one of my favorite series, like Mushoku Tensei. This arc coming up in April is probably one of my favorite arcs of all time. Probably like my second in the series, or my first in the series, but like waiting for it has been a killer. It's like being a Ray Zero fan. You wait like 2 or 3 years between the seasons, and it just drives you fucking batshit crazy. But you do it because you love it, and you just wait and just wait and just wait, and it sucks.
So I don't know if I've talked to you about this, but there's an anime I started watching that I slept on. I really
Oh.
did.
What's that?
Log Horizon.
Log Horizon? Uh,
Yes, I
um,
slept on it.
I know of it.
So
I didn't watch it, but I know of it.
I would recommend it because it reminds me of old school dot hack.
Yeah, I could see
The
that.
reason I slept on it was SOA. Like I I watched up to about halfway through Gun Gale.
Dude,
I couldn't
SAO
do it anymore.
is a pile of shit.
It is. I watched halfway up through Gun Gale.
You poor, poor soul.
Stopped. Exactly. So you understand.
Exactly.
But Log Horizon had come out around the same time that SAO had come out. That's why I
Y-
slept on it. I slept on Isekai for a long time because of SOA.
Yeah, I have my
Log Horizon is fucking phenomenal, dude.
I have my I have my top tier isekais, and that's where I try to stick, honestly. But I
Uncle
get
from Another World, right? Reborn as a vending machine, right?
no, no, stop, stop.
Come on. I fully enjoyed Reborn as a vending machine. That was pretty good.
I didn't touch it.
Come on, he's a vending machine, dude.
There's better
That,
isekai, even for like mid tier isekais. I mean, like I liked reincarnated as a sword. That was pretty good. It had a cute
I don't know
little.
if I've watched that one yet.
You've got a cute little Neko, and it's absolutely adorable. Um, the last episode hasn't aired yet because of 1 week delay, but pretty much reincarnated as a pig's pretty decent. That's the problem. On the
Fucking, I liked. got cheat skills in another I got cheat skills in another world that made me OP in life, I think is what it's called.
Yeah. You see,
That
and
one was pretty fucking good.
that's the problem is like besides my top tiers like Mashoko Tensei and Ray Zero and technically Oshinoko, even though it's not really an isekai, but it's more reincarnation. But like unless it's like a top or even like God, what's another one I'm trying to think of that would be really good isekai material? 12 Kingdoms.
The
That's another
fucking
like it's got to be one that's
so
just I got to remember, but it's tough.
Isekai is just so overplayed right now. I understand it. You know,
It's
fucking
start
Sword Art kind of opened up the isekai genre for the most part. I mean, you know, so me and you, we kind of grew up around the same generation of Cartoon Network, so we probably watched Dot Hack Sign around the same time. I mean, you would have been younger than me, but like
yeah,
that was our first major isekai.
yeah.
That kind of set the bar pretty high,
Not
honestly.
not gonna lie
Um,
to you, not that you're probably watching much this anime season, but there's one I'm covering on my channel right now because I'm covering two seasons right now. One of them's called Hokkaido Gals Are Super Adorable. Fucking brilliant.
I think
Brilliant.
I think I've seen that on Crunchy or something.
Yeah, the first episode came out like 2 days ago. I love it. There's another one that I really love. That's another romance one called Tales of Wedding Rings. Absolutely great. This season is like romance etchy on like steroids. There's been like one, two, three, four, five seasons or five shows this season that I've watched that have just been like
You
loot.
need to you need to fucking send me these because like fucking I'm the etchy guy. Like I fucking
And
like
then
this is the degeneracy chapter of my life. Like
and then to get into and to get into more like nerdy shit, which everybody that knows my channel way back, I mean, I still talk about it a tiny bit, not as much, but like um the ex Hololive VTuber Rushia, who went to V Shoujo, who is now graduated from V Shoujo, um, because she actually got into a voice acting agency. She is doing her first voice acting role in the one I think I told you about it. It's the reincarnated as a hot spring enthusiast.
I
And,
don't think you've told me that because I think I'd
yeah,
remember that one.
yeah, and it starts airing tomorrow. And
I'm
I'm
gonna have to watch this. What's it airing on?
I'll find out. I want to say it's probably gonna be High Dive because it's uncensored 18 plus. And
High Dive's pretty good for that.
oh hi fuck Crunchyroll. It's all about High Dive. But yeah, I'm really excited. Like I said, my one of my old favorite VTubers gets a her first voice acting role in a ecchi anime. It makes sense realistically, if you know Rushia's character back in the day. But I'm really excited. It's legitimately who wouldn't want to be reincarnated as a hot spring enthusiast? You know, like that's just the
Oh,
goal.
bro, that's like so many titties right there. Like, come on.
Right, you can't go wrong with it. Mm.
Like, I think the only fucking possible like better situation there would be like reincarnated as a vibrator, which I'm pretty sure is probably something somewhere.
So
Like reincarnated as a butt plug. Like, okay.
hot hot take, right? This was like I don't know how many seasons ago that was now. Was that two or dude, that's the thing when you cover like or when you watch like 10 to 20 series a season, they kind of start meshing when they aired. But okay, so it was a year ago already. Holy shit. Winter 2023. There was an anime that a lot of people, because people are lame and stupid, don't appreciate good shit when they see it. There was an anime called My Life as Inukai-san's dog. You probably heard about this. And it was this guy who gets transformed into a puppy and gets taken in by
Okay.
this girl named Karen, who he kind of sort of would pay attention to in class, but she picks him up and really loves a puppy. Well, you come to find out she really loves puppies.
So she fucks puppies.
She
Is
doesn't.
that what you're saying, Maddie? Because
She does.
we're not getting monetized on this. Like, if she fucks dogs,
No,
you gotta
no,
talk about her
no,
fucking dogs.
no. She doesn't. She doesn't screw dogs, but there's bathtub scenes and like it. So many
So
great
she sucks
scenes.
dogs off. She's like, Red Rocket spot, Red Rocket.
And then there's this other girl named Usagi, who he kind of sort of had a crush on, who kind of finds out that like that he got reincarnated as this dog because he just disappeared out of nowhere one day, and like she's like in his room thinking about him at his parents' house, trying to like think of where he could have went. And she's like rubbing herself off on his like school desk and everything, and like it is so
Wait, in this fit of masturbation, he
uh,
has become a dog. I'm
it's
like, what
so
the fuck?
it's
Like, I
so
love doggy
it's so
style, so he is a dog.
it's so good, but everybody's like, oh my god," and like it has like a 5.08 rating on my anime list, but it's degenerate top tier. I don't give a fuck what people say.
Dude,
It's
I fucking, as I said, man, I'm in like my degenerate phase in life. Like, I don't think I told you about this, but there's this girl I've been talking to, just kind of chatting with, but fucking like Facebook dating.
yeah,
So, all of you Squid fans, I'm single. If you want to scoop this up, like, come scoop this up. But, so, this girl I've been talking to, and we talked a little bit on Facebook dating, and then I was like, you know what, fucking, we've been chatting back and forth for a couple days. Why don't we just take this off of Facebook dating? Because obviously we don't check that as much as we check like Messenger or shit like that. This girl dude starts sending me like, so I'm pretty sure I've sent it to you before, but I have this one image on my phone. I will always keep it on my phone. It's one of my favorite little fucking hentai memes. But it's a dude like whispering into a girl's ear, "Hi, coming, I'm dad."
yeah, yep.
I sent that to her, and she's like, "Oh, it's on." So me and this girl have been sending hentai images back and forth, but that leads into the fact that like degeneracy. I'm embracing that shit now. Like, I don't fucking care. Like,
Oh, good. I mean, to be fair, like
exactly.
this girl, if she watches this, hi, this girl I've been talking to recently.
You
Um,
want to get double teamed by two fine alternative guys, girl? Hi.
Hi. She she sent me this picture of her with her loon between her toes and said, Want to take a rip off this guy?" And I was like, "Well, yeah, at this point I kind of have to. Like
Exactly. You gotta.
I
If it
have
was
to.
in between her armpits, you would be all for that.
Yeah, shout out to K-pop pit posting on Facebook. Um
I didn't even know this was a thing until I started fucking chatting with you more. Dude, like fucking
Hey man, it's a lifestyle. You have to really get into it.
dude, I kind of want to lick an armpit now. Like, I'm not
You're,
gonna lie. Like,
you're welcome.
I may be going peak degeneracy. Like, no, dude, I thought I was degenerate with the fact that I wanted to fucking bind girls and fucking, smack their booties and,
Well, that's
but what I mean by smack their booties, I mean smack them with things that aren't my hand.
that's just like
So,
that's
ladies,
you're talking like
dude,
amateur stuff.
I thought I reached peak degeneracy when I had this girl I was fucking around with, and she was, doing the on top sort of business, and she needed to gain leverage because, I'm not gonna say I'm a well endowed man, but I'll beat your cervix up if you want me to. Like, I'll go 9 rounds with that shit. But she had to get a little more leverage, so she decides that my throat is good leverage. And I'm like, oh my god, why do I like being chucked by women? This might be a thing. This might be a
Yeah,
thing I'm into.
that's fine.
Peak
So,
degeneracy, bro.
dude, degeneracy goes so far. I don't care what they say. You can go. The sky's the limit with degeneracy. So, so.
Yeah, back to the girl you were talking about that was like, smoke this weed from my toes, because I'm pretty sure that's what it was going at. But like, I've had a
Oh,
few beers.
so she said, "You want to rip this vape from my toes?" And I'm like, "Yeah, sure." And then now we're gonna hang next week. So if you're watching this, hey, but
If you're watching this, like, you know, you could get possibly double teamed by two studs right here, right now. Like, I'll advertise it right now. Like, I'm at that point in my life where I'm like, I don't care if his dick's bigger than mine. Like, we'll just go
I
for it.
don't care. Well, thank you. But so afterwards, afterwards, it's like when somebody's,
Naho,
it's like
Naho starts.
it's like when you're watching those, like, it's like, do you watch much Dave Chappelle every now and then?
Not really.
Okay, so I don't watch him that much anymore, but every now and then, if he's like on a Netflix special and I'm at my dad's house or something, I'll watch it, And there's one Netflix special where he talks about the 3 times he met OJ in his life. And like, he starts out, with the first one, and then he just kind of rambles
Yeah.
on, and then he goes to the second one about halfway through the series or the special, and then, like, at the very end he talks about the last situation. Well, that's how I feel this podcast is going. It's like, well, here's some orange, here's some BS, here's some orange, here's some BS. Here's a little more orange, here's some
Here's some
BS.
kinky
Right,
shit.
right. So, so okay. So we've gotten to the point now. Obviously, he's through his
Where
cell
we
phone.
should probably cover the rest of Orange.
Right, right. We're already at the 2 hour mark. Let's get it. So before this
So,
happens, before the cell phone and everything,
so
there's a track and field day, right?
oh
And
yeah, and you know they say in the letter he's gonna break his ankle. He's gonna fuck his shit up, but
yeah,
he's the fastest runner, guys.
yeah,
So let him do it. So we're gonna carry this mattress together.
and here's the thing too. Here's the thing too. They invite his grandma, so he has somebody from his family to watch, because in the true timeline nobody shows up for him. So they invite his grandma, and obviously
Who ends up inviting his grandma though? Is that fucking what's his nuts?
it had to be Hiro though.
Because I don't think they. Yeah, it has to be because I don't think they actually cover who.
Yeah, but that's my guess is Hiruto. And so, like, they invite her, and they know that he's gonna break his ankle. And Naho is like running the medical tent, and like Hiruto ends up hurting himself in like this pole climbing event. And
You have a boo boo. It's like a scratch on his arm, and she's like,
yeah,
"I can bandage that up
and
for you," and
so
he's like,
yeah,
"No."
yeah, and Kakeru gets all fucking pissy and jealous about it,
His his
which is,
character is so fucking weird. Like Kakeru's character is so fucking weird, dude.
but you can tell
So
Hiruto did it intentionally to get him jealous and admit that he's jealous about it. You
I
know,
know, but his character is so fucking weird in like the grand scheme of things.
yeah,
Cause like,
well,
okay, I get it. Cause I've had like deep talk. I've had suicidal ideation. I'm sure a lot of our viewers, all 37 of them, have had it at some point.
hey now,
But
the podcast has gotten to 100 episodes or 100 views before, so don't. Don't
I don't think that was my podcast though. So
yeah,
we'll
yeah,
see how
it
this one
was
goes.
the one that wasn't Angel Cop. It was the one before Angel Cop.
What did we cover before Angel Cop?
I mean, look, that's a really good question. I think it was just, let's see here. Let me look at my
Oh,
channel.
that was our basic talk where I went on a tangent about Power Rangers for a little bit. Where I was
Oh,
like, I can't hear Maddie, but
y-
Power Rangers, like, yeah, that's probably why I'm into anime.
yeah, because the name was Mecha Anime Rhythm Games and Laying Down the Cable.
Yeah, it's probably all about laying down the cable, you fucking perverts.
So, yeah, he's a weird character. Whatever, gets jealous. They confront that topic. And so, like, um, the main reason, I guess, like, he gets really sad, Kakeru, is because, like, I guess when he was a kid, he did a sports festival, and, like, if I remember correctly, he just kind of was, like, frowny the whole time, like he was in that one, until he won one of the
But he was like,
races.
and he was super proud because his like mom watched him win one of the races.
Yeah, positive affirmations.
Which is it's pretty important because at this point when he's doing the track and field event, his mom is dead.
Yeah, but his grandma's there, and she even tells him, like, your mom would have been proud. You did a good job. And like they all take a picture together, which is like a kind of a big thing. And then
Yeah. See, I like how in that whole series of events, so we have this whole race where Kakeru he actually wins it for the team he's on. I think it's red versus blue or something like
yeah,
that.
and then they
But in
have
the
like
original
this
timeline,
like
blue wins because he breaks his leg. But so I think the cute thing is that after all of this happens, there's all these pictures taken. He ends up buying the picture of
her in her
Naho,
cheerleader uniform.
which it was cute as fuck. Like let's
Yeah,
admit it
and then
because
like
like
they like obviously well, we all know they have a letter at this point. So Saku points out his ankle, so they wrap his ankle, and that prevents him from hurting him further to win the race. But then the other cool part is like they each give each other a little sentence to give to Kakeru at the end of the race, which pretty much
that
equates.
was so that was so fucking cool, dude. Like I was fucking trying not to bawl during that whole part. Like I'm not gonna lie,
Yeah, and it pretty much equated out to, don't give up, keep going because we want to meet up in 10 years again. And like it's just
so beautiful.
it really is. And like it's just this whole series is a matter of five friends trying their hardest to make sure that their one friend doesn't end his life. And it's absolutely beautiful and gorgeous. And then after
And then
yeah, you can go. Yeah.
yes, so like after this whole thing, I mean, I don't think there's many like hot points to talk about up until the point where they're all trying to save him from
Yeah.
actually
Yeah, so he
doing the deed.
after he throws his cell phone and shit, obviously, there is Valentine's Day, or yeah, because there's Valentine's Day and
And
White.
she Niho tries so fucking hard to give him his chocolates.
Yeah, and like she keeps not finding the right opportunity because at this point, even after the cell phone thing, Kakadu's been trying to give space because of what I said earlier, where he doesn't want to hurt her. So like he keeps making
Uh,
every situation awkward, and then like of
but
course,
also at the same time, you got Rio's ass coming back in.
I
Sorry, I said Miho instead of
yeah
Rio.
no,
Rio's ass coming back in
I was just gonna
and
say
fucking ruining Miho's chocolates,
yeah,
and she wants to give him to him so fucking poor, badly. And then like he's like, "Oh, what have you been hiding behind your back the whole time?" Well,
yeah.
here's these chocolates, and it still doesn't fucking fix anything. Like, that's the fucked up part. Like,
Right.
I don't think anything, if I remember correctly, because it's been like what 2-3 weeks since I watched this.
I think about 2.
Nothing really gets solved until he jumps in front of a fucking jumps out of the way of a fucking truck.
Right. So he appreciates it, but it doesn't make much of a difference. So yeah, fast forward after all this has kind of happened, they get to
He,
the day of
he
the note where he's gonna do it.
and he's digging in his closet
Yep. And
and
he
he finds his mom's cell phone.
her
And
Motorola Razor,
he's kept blaming himself for this the whole time.
and
And
he's.
his mom does not help at all.
I was just
Because
gonna
his
say
mom
it.
had a drawer saying, like, I'm sorry I've held you back. I'm sorry,
Yeah,
I've
because
pulled you away from all these things because, it's the it comes back to the club shit.
I was just gonna say
Really, it does.
because like he looks to see if she even read the message before she did it, and you come to see that she read the message and wrote a whole draft but never sent the draft, and,
Uh,
and it's like,
it fucking does it. Like,
yeah.
oh god, dude, it's so heartbreaking.
So then he runs out of
Like,
the
that's
house,
why you're a bastard.
and then he runs out of the house, and like they all know.
It's
So they go to grandma,
he,
and grandma's like, he just left. He just fucking left. And this is where freaking, Saku comes
what's
into
his nuts
play.
broke the bite.
Because,
Yeah.
yeah, he snaps the fucking chain on the bike. And
And
so,
then and then they're all looking for him. They're all looking for him. And then it comes back to the point where fucking Naho and what's his nuts? God, I don't have my fucking monitors open right now. I need to get better at this, guys. I swear I'll get better at this.
Hirito?
Hirito.
Yeah.
Naho and Hirito are together and they're looking for him. And then finally they're like, oh, he's over there. He's over there. And Naho almost sees him literally kill himself in front of the truck. Like, she literally thinks like she did not make a difference. Like,
Yep.
he did it. And
Because
they
I
finally
guess,
walk up to him and oh my god, dude.
yeah. And like to add a little more context to this, because I totally skipped over it, but halfway through the series, there's this class they have in science where their teacher's talking about time travel. And like you don't know at this point that everybody has the letter, just Hiruto and Naho. But Saku kind of mentions like he doesn't believe in time travel, maybe like parallel worlds, but not necessarily like the time travel and the differences it makes. So this whole point at the end, he's like, maybe you just can't change the future, but come to realize that it's two totally separate timelines, and like so, yeah, he gets saved, and everything goes good, and it's
And,
on.
and and it's not that he gets saved. He finds
He's
a way to save himself.
I was just gonna say he more or less saves himself because he comes to realize all the things that he's gained in this present day, and then everybody kind of like confronts him and tells him actually finally that they've gotten letters from themselves 10 years in the future, trying to prevent you for the last
And
7-8 months.
honestly, it's so cute when you find out the girls that had the letters too, because throughout this whole series, like, um, fucking Hirito and Naho understand that they both have had letters sent back, and that makes sense because they were the couple that ended up together, and they had the kid together. But they don't ever, like, you have suspicions, but they don't ever fully confirm that the girls had the letters too.
Yeah, or or fucking Saku at that.
Well, no, they fully confirmed that. Well, yeah, Saku too, but like
Yeah.
the
Uh,
the I think the most gorgeous part too is where they give him letters to
yeah.
read,
Because coincidentally, they're all carrying their letters. On the they're just
and
all
those
fucking of
letters,
them.
and aside from like Naho, I think those letters included, maybe Naho was included too. I can't remember, but those letters included letters to give to Kakaru if they saved him.
Yeah. Yep.
from like 10 years in the future. So it's just this gorgeous story about these guys and these girls trying to save their friend. And then, it's a parallel timeline because, yes, in one timeline, Kakaru died.
Yep.
And Naho is with Hirito.
Yep.
In another timeline, Hirito and Naho are together. And it even eludes to another timeline where Kakaru's mom is alive.
Yes, which leads us to the film.
The
Which,
film, the OVA,
yep,
I think it could have been. I think they could have done a 14 episode anime, and they could have just kept away all the recap.
they they
Personally,
they probably could have.
that's one thing I will. That's one thing I will say about this. Like,
Oh yeah,
honestly, the OVA should have been the 14th episode.
they could have, but a lot of that has to do with TV programming too, and time slots and schedules. You know.
And honestly, I would have liked to see, for lack of a better term, a orange alternative where it followed uh fucking Hirito versus Naho,
Yeah. Which I mean,
because that's essentially what the OVA is.
yep. So yeah, like the OVA, like we stated, pretty much goes, like I mean, actually, if I remember correctly, um, no, maybe not, I guess. But no, so yeah, like the first half of the
Well, so
OVA is like recap with like minor alternative scenes, coming from Hiroto's perspective of them writing their letters to send back because, like you stated, they go and they visit Granny and they do the respects and they get the flowers because that's another thing we kind of skipped is um Kakadu's birthday. um Everybody gets him gifts and they kind of ask him what gifts to get him. And Kakadu says, Hiroto, if you're going to get me something, get me flowers. So, Hiroto
I
gets Kakadu
give
flowers and he gives it to Naho. Well, in that future timeline, obviously, that didn't work out that well. So, um, Hiroto buys flowers to give to Kakadu on his grave, but he knows that Kakadu would have gave them to Naho, so he gives the flowers to Naho, and it's like this whole sentimental
Mhm.
thing. And like while they're doing that at the same time, like you said, and a Hiruto spinoff would be kind of cool because like we stated earlier, you get that whole perspective of a man who knows like he fucked up and his whole life right now is pretty much based off of him being a selfish asshole.
like
And
and
like
and and, and the fucked up part is, like, you guys got to realize, like, yeah, it's a group of 6 people, but like Hirito's best friend is Kakaru at this point. It
oh
is
yeah.
his it's his best fucking friend. Like, and he didn't realize at that point, like, this meant that much to him.
Right, because I mean, in retrospect, I mean, nobody technically knew what was going on in his life. So I mean, like,
Yeah.
and once they got that foresight, obviously, he felt even worse about it. And at the same time, in that future timeline, obviously, they go and meet 10 years later, and instead of Hiruto and Naho having a kid, obviously Kakeru and Naho have a kid. And one of the things I almost made me cry. I mean, it made me cry cried a lot. But one of the things that made me cry personally is when they meet that day and have their picnic and everything in the future. How Kakeru and Naho's kid is really attached to Hiruto, almost in like
Yeah.
a
Oh
par-
my god, dude.
a paranormal aspect of the fact that like maybe the world knows what he sacrificed, so obviously the kid kind of like respects him in that aspect, you know what I mean? Like that part's like
Okay.
really detrimental to the heart there.
What I'll say too is, so I don't want to dig too far into our situations,
Yeah.
but related to our situations that we've been through in our lives, that shit hit me so fucking hard.
Oh yeah. It's so deep, dude. It's like
And
Whew.
I feel like you have to be sort of in a relatable situation
Right, right. Oh,
to
100%.
feel it the way that we have felt it.
Yep. And then,
Because yeah, I'm not gonna anything too deep for for your viewers, but you know,
yeah,
I can heavily relate.
yeah,
You can
100%.
heavily relate.
Yep.
Like,
And then it gets like even better with like the fact that um you get like he mentions it early on in the series, but you don't really think about it until the end. And I messaged you this too. But like the OVA is the only way you technically find out the name of the series, why it's named Orange, because he
yep.
obviously grew up in Tokyo, so he never really got to see the spring sunsets with the cherry blossoms. So like obviously he sees the nice orange sunset in the cherry blossoms, and
And
that's where
and
the
I thought it was
name.
about the fact that, and honestly, I thought without watching the OVA, like I thought it was very much about the fact that he bought orange juice all the time. So
Which I could understand why you would think that. You know what I mean? Like,
exactly.
if you didn't watch the OVA,
But
that would make sense. But,
here's another little bit of the review that I wanted to.
well,
I usually watch dub over sub. Um, so I watched the whole series dubbed, and I watched the whole not the whole series, but the OVA subbed because I couldn't find a dubbed version of the sub. I will
I,
say this as a review standpoint, both the dubbed and the subbed actors, voice actors, phenomenal. They did phenomenal in this series.
yeah. I mean, I didn't watch the dub, but I can attest to at
Like,
least
did
the
you ever
sub.
watch it dubbed?
No, God, no.
The subbed. But like,
The
yeah,
sub?
no, watch the dub sometime, dude, because the dub no, watch the dub sometime because the dub they did very well on it. Like, I know you're more of a subbed anime watcher, but I can tell you, like, to feel all that emotion in there. The voice actors did very fucking well with it.
Well, I'm looking into this right now, and that makes sense because I don't think the OVA ever got dubbed.
Yeah,
That
and again, I watched the OVA subbed,
right. I'm just saying that's probably why
and
you couldn't
I,
find it dubbed. But
oh
yeah.
yeah, but like I felt the same emotions, you know.
Oh yeah, that's fair. You know, like I always tell people, my main reason I mean like obviously I'm not 100% Nihongo Jozu, but I mean I've been studying or learning about
I don't
Jap.
even know what that means. So like, I'm not
That
even 10%.
that means pretty much fluent in Japanese. Because
Okay, fair
Ja
enough.
Japanese is Nihongo. That's why
It's
whenever you hear in like a sub anime, if you hear Ningen, it means human because that's Japanese for people. But anyways, um,
and
uh,
Japanese is so difficult for fucking Americans to learn. Like I'm starting to learn that, but
oh
like
God, no, Japanese was a piece of
it's
cake.
difficult.
It's a piece of cake compared to Korean. Um, but
I don't. I'm not even gonna try. Like, I'm not even gonna try.
honestly, I just started trying to learn Japan or Korean about 3 months ago. And with Japanese, I can read hiragana and katakana. I'm just starting kanji. For me, it's mostly pronunciation of a lot of words. But like Japanese, can understand. I can watch shows without subs if I need to, for the most part, if they're basic enough. Korean's gonna take me a while. But my point here is after we'll finish this and we'll round her up. But after that whole thing happens and everything, they decide to, like you mentioned earlier, write notes to themselves again in attempt to save Kakeru's mother this time. So you get the I guess perspective that it's a continuous parallel timeline, and who knows how many times
Yeah,
this has looped or happened and all that shit, which I think is another really cool perspective I really love about time travel anime.
exactly. Because I'd like to think that out there. you know, we haven't seen it, but there is a timeline where Kakaru's mom is still alive.
Yeah.
Kakaru and Naho had gotten married,
Yep.
and the mom got to see all of this. Or like there could be an alternate timeline where there's some weird sort of poly relationship type of thing going on. I don't know what Japanese sentiments are about that sort of thing.
Well,
I mean,
considering 48% of men in Japan are single virgins, I mean, probably not super high.
fair enough. At
The
least I beat Japan. Let's talk about it that way. I got a kid, and definitely had a lot of practice before I had that kid.
Oh, dude. Oh, yeah. The hand he's a happy camper.
No, we don't. We're not talking about the. We're not talking about the hand, Maddie. When I say I was a degenerate, and I am a degenerate, there's a reason why I talk about my mustache rides. Like, mm,
Oh, oh.
mm, mm.
But yeah,
That's
that's
that's why I'm so willing to talk about Eiffel Towering at.
hey, that's okay,
Like,
buddy. That's okay.
we're degenerate at this point. Like,
Yeah,
at least.
100%. 100%, buddy.
So that
Armpits.
was orange.
I was just gonna say
That was.
that's orange. 2.5 hours later, baby. That's orange. 10 out of 10.
It might have been a lot of tangents. It was fucking phenomenal. Like, if
That
you want to fucking feel some feels,
yeah. Highly recommend it. Go watch it. And if you disagree with our opinions, that's okay, but you're wrong. So there's
you're
that.
fucking wrong, motherfucker.
Grant, granted, granted, I could see a lot of Gen Z not liking it because that's the thing is like being a weeb of 22 or whatever years. Um, a lot of these new Gen Z kids it's either got to be shonen or like shonen.
Pretty much. And don't get me wrong, I love my shonen animes, but like I'm finding, at least with the situation that I'm in, where I'm a fucking 30 something. We're not gonna actually talk about how old I am, but
We
I'm
already
single.
did.
I've been
We
through.
already did.
Wait, I'm 32. Okay,
Yeah.
we'll talk about it because we already talked about it. So I'm a 32-year-old who is single, had a kid. These romance animes hit hard because that's kind of it's the thing I fucking wanted, but just never got. And I feel like, I don't know, Gen Z just doesn't relate.
Well, that's just it, man. It's all about like life perspective and everything. And like I say, if you have something you like, go for it. But like, excuse me too. But there's like a point where I sat down last year at it was like my 1 year channel anniversary or something, and I watched the first 2 seasons of Demon Slayer. And I hated every second of it. But I was
I never even gave I
well.
never gave Demon Slayer a chance. I'm
Uh,
not.
here's here's the thing. I'm into it now, so I'm gonna go see the next movie in theaters when it comes out in 3 months. But holy shit, I don't understand where the hype came from. Visually, it's great, but here's the thing. I think this new generation likes visuals over storytelling, and
Over
that's
substance.
right. And I can't stand that because I'm a sub. I mean, I love all walks of anime, but like I like a good fucking story. Okay, like
Exactly.
if I just want to.
That's why I've dropped so many subtle recommendations over this
Yeah.
podcast. Like, I will always plug Eden of the East because I think it has a phenomenal story. Um Plus the visuals on it are great, which
Yeah,
helps.
it's
And
just
Welcome to the NHK, like, dude, I think I watched Welcome to the NHK back in like 2012.
yeah, yeah.
Like,
Well, it's just like I know you.
it's a different.
you talked about liking it, but I couldn't get into it. But like even like Jujutsu Kaisen, oh, there's there's
So
no.
Jujutsu Kaisen for me was visuals.
It's
It
a
really
tournament.
was.
It's a tournament. There's no plot. It's just a tournament.
Well, I won't say there's no plot, but like,
And it's like Darling in the
yeah.
Franks.
So
Ooh, fuck that noise.
honestly, I like Darling and the Franks, but that's I have a thing for pink haired girls.
Yeah, we know.
Right,
Hey, you want a thing for
we
pink
know.
haired girls? Go watch Aria and the Scarlet Ammo. You're welcome.
I will at some point, but I'm definitely getting 02 tattooed on my body at some point here there. Like, dude, I haven't even told you that yet, but so I'm gonna get some weave tattoos. So I think I told you about the fact that I'm gonna get 02 for
Yep.
sure.
Yep.
I'm gonna get Major from Ghost in the Shell, which I don't think's as generic as some others. You know,
Oh,
like
dude, do you have 4K of it? Do you have a PlayStation 5 or an Xbox
yes,
Series?
yes, I do, and a 4K
Perfect.
TV,
Okay.
so I can
I
watch it.
I have 4K too, but I actually few months ago finally bought Ghost in the Shell on 4K. Dude.
Dude, I have it on 4K, like the original OG movie.
Yeah, yeah, not the new shit, the OG movie, yeah.
Like, so one of my tattoos I'm gonna get eventually on my left arm, because my left arm's fairly bare at the moment, is going to be the Major, and it's gonna be that moment where she's got. It's been done as a figure a few times. I can't remember if it's actually in the anime itself or not because I haven't watched it in a little while. But you know where she's all connected up to like the wires and shit like that, but she's like almost kneeling, but she's butt ass fucking naked and she's got like the SMG in her hand.
Yeah.
That's gonna be one of my tattoos for that arm.
Okay.
And I'm getting 02 because I what and the moment I want her at is so you remember when what's his nuts? I can't remember the dude's name in Darling of the Franks.
I don't either. I'm trying to think.
Okay.
I know who you're talking
So
about though.
when she's about to get kind of taken away from him and he finally accepts the fact that like I want to work with you. I want this like it's I'm not scared, you know. And she kind of puts that huge ass smile on her face and she's like, "Darling," you know.
Yeah.
That's and holds her hand out. I'm going to get that tattoo too.
Okay.
There's a few other ones I'm gonna probably plop on that arm, but I'm gonna get those two for sure. That's gonna be my anime girl arm. Probably go up onto my chest a little bit, and then I'm gonna get Iago faces, Iago whatever, you know.
No, yeah, I know what you're saying.
Okay, yep. So for all you people who don't know my shitty pronunciation, I'm gonna get these faces of these anime girls coming in and getting fucking railed as my filler for the rest of that arm.
Yeah, on your bad arm? Just kidding.
On my arm, I don't jerk off with, so I can look at it while I jerk off.
Fair, fair.
I mean,
Cool.
come on, guys. You got to think about it. Get all your serious tattoos on your dominant arm, and then get all your pornographic hentai tattoos
On your neck.
on your non-dominant arm.
And your calf. Oh
No,
wait.
I actually got the back of my calves thought out by now, but like you don't like fucking shitty dark trap music, so I'll
No.
eventually get you into it. We'll sit here in a room and I'll listen
Have
to
you
like 50
have you
fucking
you've seen
songs.
you've seen my calf succubus tattoo, haven't you?
No, I have not.
I'll have to send you it. But anywho, I figure we can talk after this, but let's wrap this up. So thanks for tuning in. I figure we're at the 2.5 hour point. This has been Squid
And
Tales.
none of you have probably gotten to this fucking point. So like,
If you've
all
made it
right.
to this point, comment down below and I'll subscribe to your channel. I'll do it.
And you know what? I might subscribe to your channel, but probably not.
Alex, Etchy guy probably won't, but I will. So thanks for
You
tuning
know,
in.
thank you.
Next week, not next week. Next week we'll do another chain soldier, and we'll get some more multi episodes out here when we got time here. And next series we're going to be covering is going to be Fruit de Gracia, and I'm really excited for Alex to watch this and probably freak the fuck out again. So should be a good time.
Oh my god, am I gonna call you a bastard man again? Is that what's gonna happen?
Yeah.
Oh. You're gonna make me cry, dude.
Dude,
Ooh.
the first season, you're not going to realize it. The film and the second season, you will. So, should be a good time.
Oh,
But
I'm kind of excited, but at the same time, like I'm limp dicked about this because, like, you know, I like to cry, but I don't like to cry.
guess
You know,
what,
we
though?
all need
Guess
it
what?
every now and again. But
Guess
like,
what, though? It's also
what?
edgy. It's also edgy, so you'll love it.
Oh,
So,
I like my etchy. So it's like I haven't fully. So Squid fans, I have not fully delved into like fully accepting hentai, but like I like some etchy. Like I'll play some Senran Kagura. Like
we'll
I,
get him there. We'll get him there.
and you know I might have some mods on my Senran Kagura if you know what I'm saying. But like
Oh, we know what you're
we'll get
saying.
there.
We'll get
We'll
there.
get there. I'll play some. I'll play some H games eventually. I accidentally downloaded one, and I'll play it eventually.
Good. So
Peace
yeah, this has been
out, guys. Thanks
Squid
for
Tales
listening.
episode 6. Yeah, thanks for listening, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye.